Welcome to the Old World Fanatics, your Warhammer fantasy podcast to quench your hobby thirst for all things the old world. I'm one of your hosts, Gummo, and I'm back as usual with Andrew and Josh. How's everyone tonight?
I almost lost my dragon. The guy I was just
holding that you were just showing me.
Holding. Yeah, so silly of me. I put my beer can there to hold it up while it's drying, and then I went to grab my beer can, and the dragon's up.
It's so I do that with gluing. I start putting stuff around because I haven't prepared, and then suddenly I run out of stuff to hang it up, and I'm like, crap, what am I going to do? I just put the paint pot that I was about to use, and it's holding up like something that I've just glued.
Yeah. Anyway.
Welcome everyone to episode 93 of Old World Fanatics. It's 93. A live stream, so unfortunately, I think some of our patrons, a couple of them, said they might not be able to make it today. So hopefully the rest of them are out there, or some of them. So if you're there, say hi. I haven't actually.
Oh, there's no obligation for anyone to come. They can come if they want.
It's a sensitive topic today, maybe. Maybe they're all WAAC players and they just didn't want to turn up because they know, we know them all by name. Perfect. Jelly. No, that's all fun and games. Yes.
Can I spend a little moment to go, how good is that thumbnail? That little bit of artwork is just
that I slaved over.
Just a masterpiece that you slaved over. Hand drawn, crayons and everything. I just love all the details on that. By the way, the stink lines going off the guy.
Yeah, but hang on. Maybe we should give away some prizes if people get all the little things that are in the little Easter eggs that I've tried to plant in it. Josh just gave one of them away, but that's cool.
I just gave one away. Yeah, I almost gave another two away.
No, you can.
There's some sneaky stuff in there.
You're not getting anything, people. So Josh is fine to actually give them away if he wants.
Yeah. Maybe we should spend time telling people what WAAC actually stands for, because that's the question we're getting.
Western Australia Army Corps. No. Win at all costs, apparently. Yes. Are the dice loaded? Entropy says.
Oh.
Close.
We'll be after this.
Close.
That is one of the, actually, that's rather than prizes. Just drop comments throughout the episode if you see anything in the thumbnail.
You would get. Yeah,
that might be better. But yes, this was a topic we were going to discuss a couple of weeks ago after our ShyCon episode, just because it triggered a few people, I think, with some their opinions either way on competitive play. We just wanted to say, I guess I'll say it straight out before I get into everything. How do you
shenaniganry? I don't think shenanigans count if you just say the word shenaniganry. I really like shenanigans are like a thing. You can't just say the word shenaniganry and it be shenanigans.
Right.
Okay. That doesn't count.
But I just want to put a bit of a preface on this, whatever it's called, on this topic. That obviously it can, it's a bit touchy, and we're not really I just make sure this is not a witch hunt on any person. It's just the feedback we got, but also we got inundated more than ever with other stories of other people's experience. Not that person. I'm just saying in general, just competitive play from all around the world. Actually, a couple of places all around the world. And just I think people. Mostly it's 90% positive, but they always have these, horror stories or views on it. So we just want to start surfacing it. I guess the competitive scene is growing. And not only that, two things happened totally that same week, unrelated. We got reached out from new players, one of which went to ShyCon and had feedback on, how to find the sort of other new players and not just experienced tournament players. But also there's a Reddit post about, and unfortunately it was about Sydney, and I don't know which, where, how, why, what, but it was just a generic post on Reddit someone sent to me about, I don't know, not so good experience playing, against some competitive players and stuff. And I was like, you don't want that. So I thought, let's just chat about it, bring up some of the goods, the bads, the uglies about competitive play, the spirit of the game, and stuff like that, and see where we go from now on that. And obviously people can pipe in with your comments as usual. So I guess with that, I should just give a quick intro to what we're doing here. So we've got that topic. obviously we've got our patrons who, for those who don't know, they'll be throwing questions at halftime and they get a shout out. So if you want to join.
Yeah, Josh is the question master.
Question master.
He collates logistics. He does all that. So yes, if you do this, you'll get a shout out if you join our Patreon over on patreon.com/allworldfanatics. I think we've got about 55 members over there, like paid subscribers, and I read them all out at halftime before we get into our second part of this show. So the first part is going to be chatting about WAAC, or WAAC as in, is it actually stupid or is it not? But then there's the Arcane Journal came out. We did get an Arcane Journal review with Sean, one of our other patrons, but Josh hasn't piped in a little bit. Plus there was a almanac
with my very great amount of wood elf experience. I can really pipe in and lay some sage wisdom on the situation.
I reckon you know what's going on. Like, you've only played a little bit, but you know the rules enough and you know the lists enough. I think you, and because you've played them, would know how well that, the current rules and meta, how that Arcane Journal would work in there. I think you would be quite good at that. You played them for quite a while.
He doesn't need to play the game, and he
was good. He was so good with his wood elves. Like,
yeah.
How many games did you lose with your wood elves? Like, not a lot.
Not many, but that was playing a broken 8th ed list with the true flight arrows, and I feel like you got a lot of faith in my
true flight and a couple of boys and just sit back and just shoot people. Yeah,
that's right.
You didn't have dragons then, so it didn't matter. You didn't have to worry about that. Entropy actually just asked if he becomes a patron, can I ask Josh about my dog? I don't know about that, but if you're a co-host, you can ask Josh about your dog, because I did that yesterday. I don't know what level you need to get to be able to get free.
I've got the Josh Fed advice many a time.
Also, it was just like these little papules on his belly. Like, I was like, yeah, man, it's just allergic reaction. It's fine.
Yeah, we know.
How do you become co-host, Gombo? How do they ascend to that level? Is there a pathway?
Have to rock up to castle, so number one.
Very strict vetting system.
I feel like there's a max of 3, because that's probably how it works. So
you're saying he has to get rid of one of us somehow.
Oh no.
Yeah,
doesn't have to be
replace us in some way. I mean, kill seems.
I'm pretty cheap. I'm pretty cheap, mate. I reckon 100.
I'll be away in about 3 weeks' time, so maybe someone can jump on for that episode. That'd be fun. Good. Okay. I guess the other topic. So the other thing I just want to thank is the fairly new Australian podcast, the Old World Behemoths, who gave me the idea for this topic, this episode, because we're covering all things that they just did yesterday or today release. So covering WAAC, covering the Wood Elves, and then we're also going to chat a little bit of news, which included the covers of the upcoming Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay Old World. So I'm stealing everything they just published today, but anyway, I'm sure they don't care. So let's get on to it. If you are in the chat, just keep leaving us. We'll try and watch that, but sometimes it can get a little, if we're a bit slow, just let us know. Oh,
I'll just be gluing as we keep going. So I'm in the middle of gluing.
Where do you want to start with this then? Let's get into it. 9 minutes.
We want to give like a bit of an intro around. I know you gave it a bit of an intro before, but just maybe it seems to be quite a few people are talking about it. And I know obviously like the Behemoths, they just had one that came out just about it, which was funny because we're like, oh, we both literally had like a similar sort of vibe going on. So I think it's something like people need to talk about, and it's healthy. So that's why I think it's really good that we're doing it, rather than like it's like that elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. No, I agree. And I think the other thing too is it's such a new, technically it's a new game and a new sort of scene, but it's also not, because, there's all this history and there's also a lot of different war games and a lot of players, there's a lot of people playing Old World that were playing 40K and they have their issues as well. Like it's but because it's so, the tournament scene's sort of new. I don't know, like we should be able to learn from what worked and what didn't work and try and build this up almost from ground zero. Do you know what I mean? And so you can't do that unless you talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a question bigger than the game we're playing. It's a very broad area. Like it's just all these sort of moderately competitive, but still aiming to be immersive sort of war game tabletop stuff. Like I think this is a relevant discussion for any of those.
Do you reckon it's a little different because, you know, when you get into, you don't even need competitive, like you don't need professional. It's not like you need to be paid. Like if you go to some random community, I don't know, soccer thing that's bottom levels and everyone's just playing, you still have a ref generally. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas like war gaming, you have TOs, but they're not sitting over your table. So you're inherently self-policing just with two people. And I think that's why sometimes this, I don't know, it feels like maybe these challenges come up in this environment, maybe more so than some other type of competitive hobby type stuff. I don't know if that's true, but it feels like it could be a little bit of that.
Are there many other competitive hobbies?
Well, I'm just saying
I guess
competition. And I'm just saying competitive in any sense of the word, like sport. That's probably sport.
I don't know if games are a hobby, kind of.
Yeah.
But can I ask you a question quickly?
Yeah.
Really relevant to this. How would you rate, and is it an old world thing or is it just gaming in general, war gaming? How do you rate from what you've seen, what you've heard, for the old world compared to other gaming systems? How would you rate the old world currently in its competitive? Like, do you see it being super, like in the tournament scene, do you see it being like super competitive or like super friendly or like super competitive where it's like cutthroat competitive, like compared to other gaming systems that you played?
Man, that's a hard question because I've never played any other game in a competitive environment.
Yeah,
but I don't know if you've got friends that play other games.
I don't have personal experience on that, really.
The only thing I would say in terms of my overall experience with what I've experienced so far with the whole world is I've only ever had pretty good experiences. Like, and I've played, it's, you don't want to single people out, but I've played a couple that are, you know, right up the top, close to the top of the rankings and stuff. And, you know, I'd play them again in a heartbeat. It wouldn't bother me. So I think I've been lucky, and maybe it is just the tournament scene is pretty small, and so we probably don't have a massive issue. Maybe, I don't know. Like if you went to a bigger scene, you might.
I'm just wondering if it's like just wargaming in general. Like maybe it is just wargaming in general, which doesn't excuse people being too competitive.
Oh, right. So you're trying to get at.
The 40K, didn't the 40K one, the whole dice in the toilet thing? So like it obviously is like, at least certain war games. I mean, I don't know if you go to the Ancients, you know how Shogun had that one table playing the.
Yeah, they got like Ancients and
I
mean, you got War Machine
doing that.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't know. I feel different cultures, possibly like gaming cultures between.
I think there could be. I think you're right. I think there would be variance between different games. Like I wouldn't be able to pick out a different game and say, yeah, they're really competitive, or this one's really like relaxed, or anything like that specifically. But I think it would vary between different game sets, and I think that is also why it's really important to discuss it, and also to like try to set. Well, I mean, not that we can do it, but in terms of like having a level of community expectation, if you have that like a broad sort of perspective of that, where people know what to expect between the different games as a community system, you can sort of set up a better culture. That, you know, that culture can vary a lot between different games depending on what's looked at as acceptable and what isn't. And if the community as a whole goes, no, I don't like that, and that's, you know, we don't really want that as part of the game. That can help to dictate, you know, how people play it.
I think I put like a few points down, which I think organically we'll get through them. But definitely the first one, we sort of talked about setting expectations. So I think that's probably something we could just sort of wag on for a few minutes. I was going to just say, Andrew, about your point. probably what we see with wargaming is it depends if wargaming becomes more of a game, like it is definitely with 40k AOS. It's not a war game anymore. It's a board game type, like a, you're going for points, you're going to win. And I think Warhammer has evolved, especially in that 6th into 7th and then 8th definitely, and then obviously Old World, it's become that as well. To a lesser degree, maybe to 40k and all. That still looks like a war game, but it's going to fall in the 40k AOS camp more so maybe even than Heresy does, which sits in that old traders versus loyalists type. You don't overly care, you know what I mean? Like it's slightly different. So it's probably that there is a winner.
I guess so. I mean, the hobby attracts so many different people that they all come to it for different reasons, and like as we've seen with all those different surveys and stuff about people they play Warhammer for the lore, or because they like painting, or they like the community. Like playing competitively was actually not very high on that list of reasons why people get into it. Yeah. And I feel like because of that, and because tournaments are so commonly just the main way people play in the community these days, like in terms of big events, like there's no other major option. I think it's really important that even the tournaments which are seen as more competitive should be really inclusive to people that are coming just to play. Yeah.
I think you just made that is an awesome point. Like it's competitive, especially the people that are going after it, just reiterate on it. The people who are only there just purely from a massive competitor standpoint, even if there was no rankings or anything, is so minute in the big scheme of the overall people turning up to a tournament, and tournaments are the only way to really play new people. Yes, Josh. I think that's underlined. That's why we're having this conversation, because I think it's bloody important that our tournaments don't turn into just cutthroat. You better know the rules type thing. Otherwise, like that type of thing. So 100%. Can't stress it enough. I think Entropy had a good thing that we probably want to have a look at. That he said, I think people online make too much about lists being too strong. I've never had a game rule from my opponent's list, like, extra dragons, only their attitudes. So, I guess that's solidifying what we're saying here. That's pretty important, that expectations are set about how you should actually act and play and all that sort of stuff. Sorry, you go.
The players pack does sort of set that up a bit, like I find in these events.
Yeah.
Like generally the players pack will set out how, in what spirit the game should be played. I must admit, I don't think I've ever been to a tournament where it hasn't said this is a casual event, come and play fun. I can't remember the last time I've seen a players pack for a tournament go, this is a hardcore competitive event where everything will be rules as written.
Yeah.
It's just lip service, I think, but sometimes, like, to me, unless you got people like Kendall going in and saying, like, nah, man, that's like a shit list sort of thing. Like, just remember, you can be competitive, but just be fun competitive sort of thing. Like, you don't want to be, this cutthroat.
I'm not talking about the list construction. I'm more talking about how the game is played during the
day. But just because he does that, like the way Kendall gives like a vibe, like a really strong vibe about this is casual, like it's competitive casual sort of thing. Whereas some tournaments you go to, it just has that burst, but I don't get the vibe at all that it's competitive casual. Like,
and I think we've seen a few, and then they don't actually throw out any lists and stuff anyway. So the lists don't get cold. It's definitely just more the vibe of the actual, how you should be approaching the games.
Sure, I'm not saying it's a bad thing at all. Like, no. To a certain degree, but I just think that the only real tournament I've seen where it's like, nah, this is casual, competitive casual, just chill a little bit, have some fun, was Kendall. That's like the only tournament I've seen that at.
MC Wong's just said 100% the TO should set the tone. And I guess that's setting this expectation. I guess there's the setting. I guess that's a different point I had, but it's the expectations I was talking about. My thing was more around at the table, but yes, definitely the actual read the room type thing of what are you going to an event? Not only should you know, well, maybe not if you knew, but if you're not new, like what's this tournament for? But the TOs probably need to make sure that is definitely pushed out and set, and maybe maybe actually act on it, not just say it in the pack, but actually through the weekend and, you know, reminding people and stuff. If it's becoming a problem, I'm not saying it hugely is, but at the same time, let's nip it in the bud before it is a problem, I guess. What about just setting expectations at the table? Because that's sort of what I was maybe thinking about, like, because I think that's where it falls over a little bit. Because it's, I don't know, you're stressed. Like, I don't know. I find when I had to get almost help through the first turn, I think, last time, because I just keep feeling it's the first you haven't played for a couple of weeks, and then you know, we drove early, and then you're like, oh shit, that's right, hang on, like, I've got to do my magic fate, like the hex stuff first, all that crap. So before that though, you probably haven't even thought about like how we playing the whole take back thing, or you know how strict are we?
How relaxed are you going to be with the
Yeah, like, I mean, did you have those discussions? Do you tend to have that discussions?
I don't think I ever have.
No, I don't think.
I try to. Sometimes I forget.
I don't think I basically forget to talk about the terrain half the time. You know, occasionally it's probably 50-50 where you go forest, hill, whatever. You know?
Yeah, and should be asked, do you guys play down? I'm up there in the rankings. If my opponent is new, I try and teach them the rules. Yeah, I think I don't like like discuss like what atmosphere we're going to play, but you know, and I'm sure you guys are pretty good at adjusting how we play to the opponent to some extent. You know, like if you can tell he's like quite someone doesn't really know the rules and sort of bumbling.
But I'm never going to play a rule or an action or a thing without the opponent knowing that it's coming.
No,
like I think that's that's so shit to do. Like,
if it's a new person, like, I don't necessarily tell them about their strategy, but if they're moving somebody up, I might be like, oh, remember he can fly. He's got to like, that sort of thing. Like, just
I think that's very fair.
Try and help them out with like little things. Like, it's like, oh, you know, they're not going to know what your army is. So like sometimes if they're doing something really stupid, you might be like, oh, just remember.
I wouldn't say stuff like, oh, don't charge that, I'll kill you. Like I wouldn't. I'd still let them make the mistakes a little bit, but I wouldn't be trying to win because they don't know what my army does, or that they don't know a particular rule, you know, that type of thing. You go, oh, cool, you didn't realize that. I'm going to throw out my Fanatics next turn. Then you're like, fuck them, you know, like, whatever it is, you know, like that's, to me, that's, that's not, you got to play down, I think.
That's really good point.
That's right. It's a balance, isn't it? You don't have to like say like, you have to pick up every mistake they make, but just like a general, just pushing, guiding, I think is totally fair. And
like dumb stuff.
Good for the community.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it's a very unpleasant experience for the new player to come in and just get gotcha'd like 3 or 4 times through the day and be like, what just happened?
And half the time they're not even new players. They might just be new to Old World. They haven't played as much, and there is lots of little differences from the other editions. And like, you know, I mean, I had that in my last tournament where at least one game I remember, maybe there was 2, where like we had to check the rules again because I was like, it works like this, you know, like this is different, you know, than what it used to. Oh, that's right. Yes, because we were like totally forgetting about the stubborn, and that stubborn's one off and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, like I'm pretty sure it is. And we looked it up. Yeah, you don't get to just, it's not just like it was an 8th, you know. So it's pretty challenging. I'll just say as a like jumping at like we will cover a couple of different things. One of them will be what about rankings and all that sort of stuff, because I feel like there's the flip side here where. And look, geez, I've written up the ranking site. Like at some point, people will want to vie for getting good results and stuff. So we're not at all pretending that people should play down to an opponent to the point where they end up, 11-9 win instead of like a 20 zip. I'm like, well, if you are better, it's fine to beat the other opponent. I think, like, but just maybe don't break them. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. What do you think about that? I mean, like, if you are,
there's a fine line. I think it sometimes doesn't always come down to giving them all the rules, but I mean, I've played against people and I didn't know something, and then they've done something. They're like, "Oh, just so you know," and they're like, "Do it real funny," and then they're like, explain the whole thing They're like, oh, so this guy can actually charge you from behind or something like that, or something like that. Like, but they're just real nice about it. And if they've got a good personality, well, not personality, but if they're personable and doing it a bit like in a nice way, if you're having a nice game with somebody, sometimes I don't care if I'm getting tabled. It's just like, I'm having a good chat. Oh yeah, getting smashed, mate. Like, it's just if you're nice, sometimes it helps a bunch as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
some of the more enjoyable games I've had is when I've had a friendly opponent who's smashing me.
Yeah. At least if they're explaining it to you, just like, oh yeah, so I moved this guy here because I knew that you were going to do that. Like, if they kind of like explain it to you, and then it doesn't feel like this dick move as much.
Yeah, it is funny, isn't it? But like, it does come down to that point that you're sitting next to this. Sometimes you've never really talked to this person ever, never met them before, and now you're spending 3 hours. Like, it's like the most intense, like, blind date you've ever gone on in your lifetime.
It is.
And so yes, it's the same. Like, be nice. Yeah, like, joke about the stuff, or like, don't just always pretend the game is the most important thing in the world at the time. And I think that goes a long way to. Yeah, I think it's an interesting observation where it's this thing that you learn in psychology and stuff about humans. It's not. What's that? Is there a funny comment?
Yes, there is.
There.
Just survive.
Well, the first of many. Maybe I saw actually another Slaanesh joke further up, but yes. Sorry, Perfy just said, but Josh, you're a devotee of Slaanesh, so you're probably taking pleasure from pain. But no, there's a psychology thing that's called, it's not about the what, it's about the how. And that's like, in marriage counseling and all this stuff, and people get so hung up on, but I do this, and I am good at this, and I help you do this. And so, but it's not what you do, it's how you do it. So it's not that you're 20ing me, it's how you're 20ing me. That's the fucking problem. And I think that's
such a good point.
Yeah, and it is when he actually boils it down, and maybe that's when we go back to don't be a dick rule, that type of thing. It's not really about the list. It's just don't be a fuckwit. Like, just like, be a human being and not a normal human being.
Yeah.
We're uncovering this here. This is the
Angela's pretty good comment. Do you really want to win based on mistakes your opponent made, or by the strategy or tactics you used?
Yeah,
which 100%. Is a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Did you guys? Yeah. I was going to bring up something as well with this, because it can sort of go both ways. Because I mean, the other week the example was like trying to take back something that was very sort of marginal in terms of not very long between, when the opportunity to do an action was and when you're asked to try to do it, like a little bit later. But you can get the other extreme where people are like, asking to do something quite far along. You know what I mean? Like when quite a few other things have happened. I find that can be a struggle a little bit as well. Like, what are you guys' thoughts? Because I remember, Andrew, like it was one where it was funny enough because it was from the same tournament. You were talking about, what was it? I think it was it your last game where, I think the guy had forgotten his Pegasus attacks, so you went back and did them, but then I think you're saying you couldn't quite remember what the
against
what the break check was or something like that. Like it was hard to remember.
Yeah, but he remembered in the end. It didn't affect anything because we worked it out. That was against Dave.
Oh, okay.
So, we kind of moved on to a different fight, and then we were like, then he's like, I forgot my stomps. And then he's like, I can't do them. I'm like, like you can do them and give me wounds. I'm just trying to work out how it's going to affect the combat because I forgot what we rolled. And he's like, no, it was blah, blah, blah. And he said, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. So then we just rolled, and I think I took another wound or something. So I'm like, that was pretty good. So as long as like you can remember something like that, it's all good to go back in my eyes. Like, it's just like, if it was ages ago and there was a dice roll involved, you might be like, well, I don't want to roll another dice sort of thing, like to a certain extent. But for me, I'd say like, I'll take the wounds or whatever. Like, I don't know. But that's a lot my thought. Yeah, it depends on who you're sort of up against and what's transpired. But I'm happy to go back as long as like everything, you can kind of replay it and what's happened, not like 2 turns ago, you don't know what was where, or like stuff's moved too much. That's where I think there's a bit of struggle.
Yeah. It makes it really tangled. At some point, you just got to be like, okay, that's how it panned out. Let's just keep playing. You know, like it's a little bit of just the immersion, a little bit as well. You just got to, you know, it's like, okay, well, for whatever reason, that's how that combat worked out. Like we did all that bit.
But if you can remember it and it doesn't affect anything, 100%, take it back, do it again, like, or even if it would affect something, but you know, like they just forgot it and they just like, you know, if you can, as long as you can remember the sequence and
that happened with me and Cam once in a game at his place where like I can't remember something. I think maybe he's great. One of his knights units were almost going to die or run away or something, and then we worked out that we missed 2 things or something, and then he ended up like actually winning the combat by 1, and we'd already moved on. But because that was sort of by itself over on one side, it was okay. Just go, bring him back.
Just bring him back.
Yeah. So I just want to bring this up because we're in the take back sort of thing, and I can't help but think it's probably not actually the cause of some of this.
It's in the game. I think it's in the book.
Some part of it as well. Like I feel like it's good that they added it, but it's also, let's not take it out of context a bit. I think people might, like, depending on how you read it, you could take it out of context, but then I wouldn't actually crucify anyone for doing that because, geez, it seems like they really are doing rules as written sometimes when some of the FAQs they bring out. But I just want to bring this up. So it's take backs and changing one's mind. It's not uncommon for players of any game to occasionally second guess themselves, saying they're about to do something before immediately changing their mind. Players should be tolerant of this in their opponents as they likely do it themselves. I feel like that whole paragraph sometimes gets forgotten a little bit, you know, because of the second paragraph. You know, to me, it's sort of saying, you know, you can, there's a little bit of, I'm going to go cast this spell, but I haven't actually rolled any dice yet, so I can not cast. You know what I mean? Like there's a bit, you should be tolerant of it. The problem is the second paragraph says, however, once dice have been rolled for any reason or a move committed to
any
reason. Made, but again, even that's ambiguous. A move committed to and made. What does that even mean, to commit to a move? Is that just bumping them, dude? Or is it actually moving it there, then moving on to the next one? Do you know what I mean? Like, you could interpret it heaps away. Players must abide by the decision. They can no longer go back and change anything that came before the dice roll or the act of moving. But I mean, what does that mean? The dice roll, you roll for choosing sides. Does that mean the dice is rolled? Yeah, Is it only particularly that particular thing that would have affected? There's so many ambiguous things which you could.
It says for any reason in that sentence. Like is it saying any dice are rolled, even if it's irrelevant to the decision as such? It's a very broad paragraph. It seems to be in complete contradiction to the first paragraph.
Yeah, and I think you know,
weird. Like sorry, Josh, that thing was that 5th ed? Obviously, you might touch on that later. But that spirit of the game seems completely different to this. Like their spirit of the game is like almost take everything back. It's like, you know, like they're just you're all there to have fun, and it seems like almost like it's changed so dramatically now to this. It seems like it's quite more structured.
Plus when this game is not written, and I'm not criticizing, I love it, like it's fine, but this edition is not the tournament edition. I'd say 8th was much closer to a tournament edition in terms of the cleanness of some of the things, especially if they had FAQ'd it more than they did. But then this one almost has, I don't know if 8th had anything similar to this written in it.
I don't remember this being an 8th. I don't remember. But that 5th ed article from White Dwarf, which we should really pull up. I mean, it's
let's pull it up. Did you have it?
Not sort of. If you've got it, that's probably easier.
Okay.
Because you got the one with the multiple screens.
Oh, hang on. I need to just keep talking while I try and find it again.
I was going to say like it's from deep in, but there was one particular sentence that strung out to me, and it's it's sort of about sportsmanship and saying to avoid arguments, both players should discuss what outcome best fits with the spirit of the game. If all else fails, you should dice for it. And I feel like that's just alluding to the fact that a lot of the time it'll just be whatever makes sense in terms of, you know, the actual situation that those models find themselves in on the board in terms of the immersion and just like what would make most sense for these knights to be charging that. Like, is you should actually go, like, if the rules are grey, which back then there was very often a lot of greyness, you should just go with whatever's the most thematic option almost.
Yeah.
Which is very different approach to these days.
I also think that's in line a little bit with MC Wong says to me it means you can't take back a bad decision, sort of going back to some of the paragraph that we just had. Angel is Dark said it should have only been the first paragraph. I think so what I was can't remember what I was going to say about that spirit of the game. Oh yes. No, don't worry. I don't know. I've got a cough.
It's quite raspy there. Yeah, I was like, it's right there. Get it out.
It's getting out, man. Oh god, I don't know what it is. What else do we have? Oh, Silver Dave. What did he just say?
He said something ridiculous.
Oh, okay.
Perhaps we should be better off adopting the code of conduct of a typical swingers club.
It's a child.
Hey, code of conduct. I've got that in a comment coming up. Yeah. Now the spirit of the game's interesting. I feel like with you know how like the old world also talks about it's probably like, I'm picking and choosing here, but there's a part about when it's a grey area between flanks and rears and stuff, and you should take the least advantageous position. Going back on sort of MC Wong's comment of, it means you can't take back a bad decision. I think that's an important thing to think about, even when you read that opening paragraph thing that we just brought up, is people need to read it from their point of view only, and in terms of enforcing their behavior. So if you are committing to a move, like you should commit yourself. Don't commit them to making their, you know what I mean? Like, don't put it on them and say, oh, you moved that, so you have to do it. Like just fucking play your own game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, play the rules as enforcing it and make it least advantageous to you. So if you think you have forgotten to roll your stomps, or if you have, then you be the person who says, oh no, I'm not going back. Like, if it's going to advantage you, don't do it. Do you know what I mean? And if it disadvantages you, and just worry about yourself, and don't try and put the rule of disadvantaging onto them. Do you get what I mean? Like, just keep it to yourself, like, and only be policing your own sort of way of doing that. And I think that would mean you wouldn't come off as being too sort of, I don't know, dicky in that regard of sort of trying to enforce something on someone else. So anyway, that's sort of when MC Wong mentioned that. I thought, like, it's for you really, that you can't take back a bad decision. This spirit of the game, though, I mean, this is classic old one. I think it had some cool things. It might be worth like reading a couple of the ones in blue. I think they're quite funny, some of them, if we want to cover any. I don't know how applicable they are, but
in blue.
Yeah, like these little boxes of the different people.
Oh, the boxes of the profiles.
Yeah, I thought some of them were quite funny because it's a pretty big article. You probably can't go through.
It is. It's like 5 or 6 pages.
Yeah.
Very sure.
Yeah. Read that one out for the audio.
So Todd, we've played Todd. He loves the thematical army, and he loves just running at you. Is coming to Castle Assault with a big run at you army. Looks great, actually. I'll let him.
Is he?
Yeah, might surprise you with it. It's Night Goblin. Well, I don't know if it's a secret, but sorry if it is. He's taking a squig army basically. It's just it's so cool. It's just going to run at you. But that's the way Todd plays, and he's played all of us, so that's why it's kind of funny because he's the opposite to a WAAC player, 100%. Complete opposite.
We were reminded about the 8th edition thing, so it did have it in there.
Yeah, I've got it up actually.
Oh, cool. Okay,
I found it. It was posted in the Discord, and it's just like it says, "Give them an inch." For many years, gamers have noted the ease with which their opponents have mismeasured, all the while trusting to their own precision. The truth of the matter is, of course, that we all make measuring mistakes from time to time. The odd imprecision is inevitable. The best attitude is to be as precise as you can in your own measurements, be tolerant of any genuine mistakes made by your opponent, and measure the distances for any crucial action before any models are moved or dice are rolled. Of course, if your opponent consistently tries to take advantage in this manner, he's clearly not someone you want to play again.
Yeah. So again, that's leaning back on my point about, like, be strict with yourself and tolerant of others. Like that's the thing. Like that's if you read that paragraphs from that point of view, then you will never tell someone, oh no, you're not allowed to take that back, mate. That type of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's more, I can't take it back. You know, like play it from that point of view. I think if we all do that, it ends up being a nicer environment to play in. I bet. Let's just have a look. I like Gordon Davidson's. Sorry, you go.
Oh wait, which one? Oh, Gordon Davidson. No, go for it. I was gonna do Jervis Johnson's one, but yeah,
you like? No, do that then. It's in the order. You do that, and I'll do the next one.
When a Warhammer general recounts what happened in a battle, he just doesn't talk about dice rolls and movement distances. He will use real-life language. Regiments charge into combat. Heroes chop down their enemies. Bolt throwers cut through ranks of men and so on. Such excitement is bought at a price, however, and Warhammer's flexibility and colourful details mean the rules can't hope to cover every situation that occurs in a game, and nor should they. If you want a game that can tell a story as vividly as any found in a book or film, then be ready to play Warhammer in the right spirit or not at all.
Yep.
That's
an old Jervis.
Pretty good summary.
Yeah.
Jervis.
This Gordon Davidson, he said, pearls of wisdom. He says, never play gets. People who upset you are likely to put you off forever. So, agree limitations beforehand. This again going back to set expectations. I mean, this is a bit different to tournaments because obviously, it's already set. But he's he's saying for some of those friendlies, personally, he doesn't play with more. These are actually I won't go through some of those limits because they're
they're very specific to fit.
But then he says, get out of the habit of bringing the same magic items and play with orcs and goblins. So I like that number 5.
Still relevant to this day.
Yeah.
What's another one? Have you seen any of these, Andrew, that you liked?
I can't remember them, but I remember reading through them, and I remember, it was this one, and then I remember the classic list building one, whereas like
that's right here. I think is this one you're talking about? The still making
right at the end. Yeah. It's like you bring the same list, you don't change anything. Doesn't matter if you get like your ass kicked, you don't change or do anything different. Like it's so good.
It'd be so funny if this was legal at a tournament. You could still rock up and play like your 2 that Eddie version. It should be like baked into the rules. You're allowed to bring that. If you've got a 5th edition army, you can still bring it. It's still be shit. But...
So what is it? I'll quickly read it out. It's funny. So
okay.
Guys might not have seen it.
So classic.
Or they might be listening to audio. So is pick your army just under 2,000 points. Write down the roster. Never amend it. Make sure it fits the background. Collect and paint the army. Give it 3 coats of gloss varnish. Never touch with a paintbrush again. Give every character and regiment a name. Do not ever possess extra alternative units. Just stick with what you've got. Make a carry case that fits the army exactly. Fight every battle with the same army and never change anything. Fight in big games with just your 2,000 points and to hell with the odds. Never vary or change your army in any way. Resist all temptation. Motto every magic item on the character who carries it no matter what. What you see in the army is what you get. Take this literally. Always give your opponent the benefit of the doubt. Who cares if all your opponents know your army composition by heart? Let the only surprise be your deployment and tactical moves. There you go. Shrug off defeat. Learn the lessons. Keep on practicing. Play for the fun of playing. And when you win, the excellence of your generalship will be beyond doubt. Beautiful work.
Love it. Classic. Sort of classic.
I can't help but think they
Nigel Stillman.
They moved on from that attitude though with the don't buy anything else, don't do anything else. It's like don't play with anything else.
Don't even own any other alternative units. Just literally.
I wonder if what's his name? Kirby would roll in his he's not dead, but he'd roll over in agony if he saw that. He'd reading it back. The hell? We said that? What the hell? Adrian Wood, rest in peace.
I think you'll like Adrian Wood.
You should think like an orc, behave like an orc, fight like an orc. It's the wrong orc, but it's good enough. It's got some good ones. If you haven't read this one, though, as I said, there's probably too much to go through on this.
But, much to go through, but it's
let's go through Graham Davies because he's sort of flipping it. It's the other way as well, which I think has its place. So his one says, well, I agree with a lot of the points in this article. I have to comment on the subject of choosing army lists. I learned to play with a group of gamers who always pick their armies specifically to win the next game. It was all part of the challenge to try and get the drop on your opponent by coming up with an army he wasn't expecting and would work well against the troops you thought he would have. This wasn't sneaky. It was fun. And yes, we liked to win, but nobody got upset if they lost. Of course, this only works because everyone in the group knew what to expect. So, yeah, I mean, exactly. You can still play hard.
Yeah. And to me, that's like he's talking about like army lists, isn't he? Like he's like, oh, I don't really care about. They play to win, and they turn around their army list. It's not.
The implication is I think they were playing pretty hard though in the games too. I reckon. If they're taking hard lists, they'd be unforgiving too. But that's a cultural thing within his gaming group, which is completely acceptable. Like if everyone's 100%. In that group, that's how they like to play, then that's totally fine.
Yeah.
I guess that should lead on to a little bit of like the discussion of the tournament scene and different events, and like talked about the TOs setting some expectations around the types. But I mean, do you foresee at some point you will have? I mean, should we be thinking about advertising the events to be more of that casual competitive, especially some of them that might have better ranking points down the track? Is that something that we need to, I guess, do a better job of trying to actually say this is a competitive tournament? Or in fact, with ranking, should we even be considering, a lot of people just do Swiss pairings or whatever it is, it's all random, pairings at the beginning. I mean, is that part of the problem? Like, should we get away from that and go, new people get paired against different, that's what
I wonder if we should, because I remember there was a post after ShireCon, I think from the TOs. Was it from Simon? He put a post up saying the benefit of a 2-dayer is that by the time you're at round 4 and 5, all the people at the top are playing each other at their level they want to be playing at, and all the people at the bottom are playing each other level they want to be playing at. But I almost feel like, if we do have a ranking system, we could seed things out so that those pairings are happening
or
from the
round
start.
One.
From round one, especially in 1-dayers.
Yeah,
you could totally stratify that. I mean, I don't know how that would work because then round 2 would be like a shit show. So I don't know how that really works in practice. But I feel like there is something there where we do have a functional ranking system, and surely we could put that towards stratifying those. But the other thing is too, it is nice to have a mixture of things. I don't know. Is there anything wrong necessarily with people playing like a whole mixture, the whole cross of community?
Probably not either, because there's something. How much benefit? I remember when my first Warhammer tournament at Castle, like you're playing. Well, like I'm pretty sure I played mostly pretty decent players, and you learn so much. Like if you come in with the right attitude, and they help you through a little bit because they know they're going to like 20 nearly anyway. That's so much more. Like you get better so much quicker than if you suddenly were a new person and you got like, how bad would it be also if you got a new person who then got paired against almost another brand new person?
Yeah.
And they're fumbling through a tournament game. Like, I don't know if that's as enjoyable either. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. You have a good point. But I don't know how you'd structure a ranking thing either. Like, because Swiss pairing is very easy to do, and if you paired everyone based on their ranking to start with, and you had like you seeded it in the first round, I feel like it would still mingle, because the second round you would just have
they'd eventually have to play other people.
They play other people, because like if you had the top 2 players, play off it, and one guy lost 20-0 or something, then suddenly he's right at the bottom. Anyway, and then second round he's playing against whoever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I also don't think you want to particularly seed it off the rankings to the point of where the top 2 people play each other.
Always playing each other in the first round of every tournament.
Because that's a bit. Yeah, I don't know. It almost feels like maybe it's more of an exceptional thing where a certain number get cut at the bottom.
Dave's calling me out. It's calling me out.
You say Andrew was really kind to me as a newbie when he gave me a donut.
Yeah, that's it. It's his first game too, I think. Poor Dave.
Oh, this legit was it? That wasn't the one you just played.
Hey,
did you actually give him a donut?
Yeah.
When was this though?
I thought that was a joke.
That wasn't his first game.
No, I know. No, it wasn't his first game though.
Oh, I thought Josh was saying it was his first game, and I no. Ah, I thought you were implying no.
Right.
But no, well, that was the game where, unfortunately, he rolled the 6 for the monster kill.
Yeah.
Then on Charm Shield, the game would have been a much different game if that didn't happen. Much different game. Yeah.
Can I pop this up? So entry says seating would be the opposite, lowest place highest, which yes, you do have a point. Like seating typically works like that. And I feel like that would just exacerbate the problem. I don't think we should.
Well, no, I'm not. No, I'm seating. I don't think that means that. I mean, yes, if that's what it generally means, but well, I'm not.
Yeah, generally, that's what it means in like professional sport, doesn't it? Yeah, that's not what we were suggesting.
Yeah. We're just saying that's what. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, no, I'd be more saying, could you split it, or what do you call it? It's not seating. It's I don't know what it's called.
Like a pool, like a separate pool, and draw like the top 8 go in a separate draw, and then the others go in a different draw for the first round.
I almost feel it's not even. It's almost like the bottom third stay in their own for round 1. Do you know what I mean? Because there's also something about, and these are ideas, and I don't even know if I agree with them, but there's always also that idea where one of the top players ends up winning or gets very close right near the top because they've ended up playing someone who they could easily get 20-0 off. So if you could sort of try keep them out of that initially, they're at least having to, get their wins a bit, it's a little bit harder. So, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. What? We
banding. That's it. Banding. MC Wong said it's called banding. There you go. Yep.
Yeah, right. So was one of the points going to be like house rules as such that you had on your list?
They're not. It's not exhaustive. You do whatever. Yeah.
Because
so what do you mean by house rules? At tournaments. What do you mean by house rules?
Yeah. So like you just come up with expectation for play, like it's just part of the tournament. Like it's just you have a little chat beforehand. You're just like, you're not playing for sheep stations, as they say, like the old Australian phrase
classic goes. Australian phrase. Yeah. I'm surprised it was taking an hour, 50 minutes for us to get to that phrase.
Yeah,
isn't that what Alex said last week?
I did. He did on the one time one.
Yeah, exactly. So there, we've done it again. That's 2 a week.
Wait, what kind of house rules would you be talking about? Like,
well, to me, it'd just be talking about like takebacks, movements, like moving and stuff, seeing how stuff goes. Like you just come up with like just a generic sort of. You guys sort it out.
At the TO level, at the actual, or at the table when you rock up.
At the TO level, or you could even just say like, well, the Western Sydney is like, the club. You could almost say, well, that's like the Greater Sydney sort of rules, sort of thing. Like, Cyclone could have the same. I mean, Blacktown could have the same.
That's a good point. It's almost like the FAQ on that paragraph. What does it fucking actually mean? And let's make sure it's I don't think that's a bad thing to see, at least regionally, or like you said, like at that.
Just to make it easier for newer players and stuff, and not make it so cutthroat. It's competitive, but like people are saying, win on your skills to a certain degree. Don't win by trying to be, just a bit of a rules Nazi. I think if that was laid out a bit more, where level ground is, Ross. Like it's very, sometimes you don't even know if you want to ask for a take back. You're like, not like a big take back. You're like, you might have, like most people, you might have looked at your charges or something, or you've gone into your charge phase. You're like, I might look at charging this guy. And then you're like, oh, crap, I didn't do magic like classic like that. That was my example. Yeah. Something like that. If nothing's changed, like that could be part of the whole rule system. Like you're like, if nothing's changed in the situation and you can't actually take it back, then you can't do it. But if it's something where the tabletop hasn't essentially changed, then it's fine for a take back sort of thing.
It would be. I mean, look, anytime you can codify, whatever the word is, some of that stuff. I think you'll always get those grey areas or exceptions, or people let you go further than what that says, because at the end of the day, it's still a bit of a just a game at the end of the day. I mean, we are pushing toy soldiers here, and there's no money on the line. I mean, we don't have to get that strict about stuff.
That's it.
So, yeah.
If you have that expectation in there and a bit of that chat and then that vibe and the culture, like Josh was saying, that was part of that culture, and you sort of had it in words to a certain degree, and everybody felt that way, then...
The other culture bit that I think, and it's sort of harping on this same point about being strict with yourself and what is it like, you know, give the other guys more leeway, is
benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, it's a 2-person game, and everyone says this. So I'm not inventing this by any means, but just reinforcing it. It's up to both of you, both the players, to make sure they all understand the state of the game, and that includes what turn it is, where it is, and not trying to aha people. So, like, I don't know how you can forget a phase. I think if your opponent forgets a phase, it's your fault as well. Do you know what I mean? Because you guys should all agree where we're up to. It's not up to Andrew to remember where he is in his turn. It's up to all of you guys to remember where the game is up to. That includes where the units are doing, what's happening, if they're routing, if they're not. It's the game state. Both players need to they're in charge of doing it, both of you. It's not up to aha-ing the other person. And I think that's a cultural change that I think people need to get right. You know, and that's the bit where I'd get a bit shitty about. Yeah, because it's not me versus them. It's we're both playing that game state and making sure that's the high priority. Yeah. And so I don't know that's the bit where I think it's all that culture of we're here to enjoy it. Let's just walk through each phase at a time. You know, oh shit, Andrew, you forgot this or whatever it is. You know. Yeah. So anyway.
Especially when it's something relatively neutral, like the rallying phase and that type of thing where it couldn't go either way. Like it's not like it's necessarily a benefit. Shall we end it on this note? Silver Dave going, oh, there's an idea. You can wear a t-shirt to events that says "No sheep stations here, mate."
Yeah.
Should we add that to our merchandise?
Oh yeah, we'll have to. I might bring that up in the news section where we're at with that because that'd be interesting. Peter Pratt. I haven't met Peter Pratt yet. Have you guys seen this name pop up? Or welcome, Peter Pratt. Unless it's someone who's just changed their name. That's part of the rules in Magic the Gathering. Both players are equally responsible for keeping a legal board state. And that's probably where it's come from because I've heard this multiple times. So I don't play Magic.
Yeah, right. If someone on something important there.
I do. Before we move on totally, though, there is one bit that I was thinking about, and it's not controversial, but it is sort of where I'm starting to think about, especially because I've helped get the rankings up. And this is probably more localized to Australia, but if you're listening to this, just let us know. Yeah, that's fine. And it comes down to this whole thing about, like, what is the repercussions for some of poor sportsmanship or stuff like that? Is it fair to actually remove people? Like, should there be, and this goes back to that code of conduct, I think someone mentioned it. Like, when I was doing a lot of software conferences, it was all about, make sure your conferences have a code of conduct and anyone turning up has to agree with it and stuff like that. And I'm sure it says it in the players pack, but I don't know. Have you guys ever, do you notice it? Do people generally put a code of conduct in the players pack? And if so, have you ever read them?
I only see that.
I don't remember ever seeing
friendly tournament burst.
Just that sportsmanship section.
So maybe that's a bit that we could. And I'm saying the TOs have to take it on, but I'm saying maybe at least. So in Australia, we've got like a group of people who've just basically put their hand up and are trying to organising the Masters and the rankings and all that stuff. Maybe it's up to that group to make sure that the tournaments are moving towards having that code of conduct, and that would include some type of way, anonymous or whatever, to, if there is bad actors in the community, that they then can't take advantage of things like rankings and masters. And then someone, we were bringing that up in one of the chats, and then someone else sort of said, well, like, it's not up to us to police it. But then I think, well, yeah, it is, because we created the community of the tournament side of things. And someone is free to go and do their own. Someone is free to build up their own rankings and Australian, ranking system. But if most people are using this one, then aren't we also within our own rights to then make sure that only certain people can rank? Do you know what I mean? Like, and there is a negative result to someone who might be not needing to be in there. Like, is that becoming a draconian? I don't want to do that, but should there be repercussions if that ever happens where someone was Now, I don't know if we'd have it in Old World, but certainly like that guy cheating with dice in 40K, you want to make sure that that person, like it happens in community sport, they're booted out. You can't play soccer. You know what I mean? That type of thing. Like, why can't we be responsible to do that? Like, I don't think that's overstepping the mark. You know what I mean? Do you think it's overstepping the mark? I don't know. Like,
you mean in terms of having rankings, or are you talking
about
like
banning people, basically getting to that point where you go, these
events?
Yeah. Well, rankings. I don't know about, look, you know, I don't know. If you call it cheating, though, like it's not so much you can't come to an event. I mean, do whatever, but you're not going to you shouldn't get advantage, and you should be just zeroed out.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we haven't really had to deal with that situation yet.
This is part of these discussions to also think about, well, is that something that needs to be
what we do if
put into the some type of conduct? Yeah, I don't know. I'm sort of pushing the boundaries there, but I'm like, maybe it needs to be in there.
There are like you do get. I've seen people be overtly aggressive in games, which to me,
you have,
okay. Like a few times you see, I'm almost like, man, these guys are gonna have a bit of a frigging biff soon. Like, you know, it's happened a few times. Like people get angry. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, you might get a bit angry. I don't know. It's just one of those things. But yeah, I feel like people do sometimes take the game too far, and I'm not immune to it at all. Like there's plenty of times. Like
he's nearly hit me with a rule book, a big blue book once.
Oh, kidding. You know, the opponent goes to the toilet and start moving shit around. No. I think like I've been overly competitive at games and probably haven't been the most chilled player previously. So I'm not immune, but yeah, I do think it's not a good thing. And I think it would be, like you said, some sort of code of conduct or ethics, if it was absorbed with the community, would be 100% positive.
Yeah, and I'm not like, we're not bringing this up because it's such a big problem, but that's the whole problem. That's why we're having this chat now, because I don't want it to be a problem. And I guess my point on that is, you know, we don't have to look at it like we're trying to be like some strict draconian overlords. We're saying that we're building this cool, fun community that's friendly, and we want to make sure it stay that way. So therefore, if we do have bad actors, they're just zeroed out. They're gone. And we're allowed to do that because we inherently are building this community. And if you want to make your own community, go do that. That's fine. And the best one wins. But we don't need it to be professional or money involved or whatever to actually make those rules. We can actually just do them.
Yeah.
You know, like we've just made the Masters. Like no one went out and went, yes, we have to have community consensus. You just go, no, we'll just do it. And what happens? People come. That's sort of how it works usually. So, you know, anyway.
It seems like everyone's happy for that. Like there doesn't seem to be this ultra competitive community going, no, that's shit. I want to catch people out and, you know, like it seems like most people want that community, which is good.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, it's a bit of a gotta put that one up there. Yes. Oh, sorry, go Judge.
Oh,
Dave. We already have a bad
knifed him in the back, Dave.
Actor spelled AKHTER for those listening and who don't get that, but I'm sure you will if you're in Australia. So
I'm sure they would have got it. Yeah.
Maybe it's jelly snacks.
Okay, well, that's probably enough of a sensitive topic, but
hopefully,
see what people leave. Leave some comments on the, you know, on our what did we miss, and you know, how do you think it's happening and you're around your scene, and you know, are we getting to the point where I don't know, share your stories, because the more we hear, the more we can then try to at least mitigate them wherever we are as well. So overall, though, to hand on a happy mark, like I've had, like I said, I've had great. I mean, I haven't played as many as Andrew, obviously, tournaments and stuff, but I've had great.
Yeah.
Even just all of them. I'm trying to think. I don't even know. There's probably been, even all back to my 8th edition tournaments. And again, I don't play all the time. I'm not a massive heavy player, but it's there might be one or two games where you go, I don't really want to do that again. It's just because it wasn't the most funnest 3 hours, but it's not because the guy was it's just some people you don't gel with as much. But overall, pretty good, considering, geez, like you said, you're turning up and playing people you've never met before, which usually can go south because we're all introverts. So, Yeah, well, most of us.
There's a lot of autism within the
within
the room.
Yeah, so you could definitely. It's amazing that we have such a good time as it is. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Should we get on to the second half and into our patrons? Yes, Josh is handling the chat. So I will get on to thanking our awesome 55
the patrons
who get to get their shout out and throw questions at Josh, for him to throw them at us. By the sound of it.
Yeah, that seems to be how it works these
days. So a big thank you to the orange juicer, Josh Griffiths, who's joined again because apparently his old one got locked out. And
he came back. Oh.
Did I get an answer?
Wait, who was that?
So Josh Griff. Oh, maybe.
That was Josh.
Because it's in the email.
No. I think because wasn't it? Yeah, you're right. Okay. Yep.
But he did tell us that he wasn't being charged for the old one. Correct? Is that what he said?
I wasn't following the conversation.
I'll have to follow that again. Josh, tell us if you, because anyway, he lost his Patreon account, so he's joined again and paid. I hope he's not being charged for his old one because I'm assuming I can cancel it.
That's dedication. That's so good.
The orange juicer. Anyway, Maddie, Firebird 7137.
Now with Firebird, can I just interject and say, sorry, there's a question later from Firebird 7137. But as a postscript, he says, while it wasn't a Hotmail address, his Patreon name, Firebird 7137, was actually his ancient AOL instant messenger handle.
Oh, how good's that? So he's not a newbie, is that what I'm saying? He's like my age.
Oh my goodness. Yep. Anyway,
did you say AOL as well?
AOL instant messenger. Wow. That's like 96 or something.
Yeah. Peter Holman, Mark Langley, Boss Grand, Matt Hitton, the Old Warrior blog, Warhammer the Old World, Silver Dave, Sporadic Saturday, Mark, Nick, Grand Vanderbosch, Chris Fowler, John Caminate, Ben, Shooter Louis, Eugene Chaffel, Benoit, Ed Fawcett, Cam the Dentist, James McKellen, Liam Fallon, Tommy Kublin, Jay McBride, who is unfortunately not here today, Flatworld's Edge,
not high.
Sexy Jelly, Herald of the Old World, Keel Herd, Dave Dodge, Lancaster, Tommy Dogs, Matthew Klein, Thumper, Matt Morris, Perfidy is on the chat, Griff, Jess Tors, Wood Duck, Josh Griffiths. Hang on, is that Josh Griffiths? Yes, it is. Oh no. So he's
still on there twice.
I will have to fix that, Josh, because you were paying us twice.
Thanks for the money.
Oh, damn. Ninoam, Daniel Broadstock, Jonathan Wingler, Elliot Mitchum, Gilthorst Draconos, Diesel, Denny Gamer, Robert Z, OG Weller. How many cervix do boob worms have?
Oh my God.
Have you seen Bobby Gherkin's other one? Bobby Gherkin, Gumwich, Sean Ritchie, Todd Lloyd, Chapstick. We're going to have to start putting Bobby Gherkin's up on the screen so people can see his awesome fonts he's adding into his Patreon name.
I love it with a little smiley face. I mean, not smiley face, but like huggy,
whatever it is,
emoji type thing.
Anyway, big thank you to them. Join them over on Old World. Old World. Patreon.com/Old World Fanatics if you want to jump on there, support the show.
No regret stupid questions. Rabbit thing from last
week. And join
week.
our massive, mature group of followers.
So mature, as will be evidenced by this array of questions I have before me. Some of which are slightly outdated now, but I'm going to read them regardless, and then you guys can answer.
A bit old. They're outdated.
Well, they're outdated because Perfidy asks, "So emergency broadcast when?" Out of context. You guys can answer that now if you like.
Okay, so was that the one that came? Did that come straight after last week when we did the Wood Elf Arcane Journal?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
After the leak came out.
Okay.
Where are you guys going to put a living on?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like the day before. It was like the
day
before.
He almost, I felt like Perfidy was having a go at me for not getting it out. Yeah, Friday morning when it came out Australian time. I was like, yeah, and so we got it out with Sean on the weekend. So
yeah, we did well. And then I think I will actually
but I haven't got
just to create it through. He's given up with the Empire.
No, he had a go at me this afternoon.
Oh, you know what? Actually, no. This is it. No, I'll skip through that one because it's relevant. Okay. He then also asks, Wood Elf Arcane Journal review. Oh, well, that's disappointing. I guess we can go with the old classic Empire Arcane Journal review end.
ASB asked me that as well.
Oh,
Sorry, guys.
Love it.
My time has been it's just very tight with all our podcasts, other ones. We had Mordheim. It was very busy.
Yep.
And then he goes, actually, Wood Elf Arcane Journal review with Josh, the Wood Elf player, when? Because apparently I'm the king of the Wood Elf.
Yeah. I play so many old world Wood Elf games.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes, the old world veteran. I haven't actually played. I was trying to remember last time I played. I'm pretty sure it was like 2018 or something during 9th Age. Like I haven't even played them in 6
Wood Elves.
I haven't played Wood Elves.
You haven't done them in 6 then.
No, I haven't pulled them in 6. Even that's what
just like riding a bike, Josh. You'd be straight back up, back on it.
Yeah, for sure. Mate. Okay, now for an actual question. Mark L asks, if we do enter a time of less dragons, yes, this is actually a question, and strangely revert to infantry blocks, which army do you think will be the most improved by this sudden switch to rank and flank, and why? So I guess imagine like it would have to be like if a specific rule came out, like they were fighting extra rank or they had parry or something like that. But just where infantry blocks were just the bee's knees, so to speak.
So which ones are basically going to be better? Is what you're saying?
Yeah. So which are, well, no, it says he asked what will be most improved by this sudden switch to rank and flank.
Yeah, but at the faction level, correct?
Yeah.
I don't know. Geez, this is probably when I don't prepare for the questions. Probably High Elf. I don't know. Would High Elves actually do that as well? Good, because they have bloody good infantry.
I was going to say dwarves because that's all they kind of have.
Yeah,
but they've got dragons anyway. Somewhere.
Yeah,
I'd love to say Empire, but I just feel like the potential isn't there.
That's very sad. Why did not pick them? Probably.
I know.
I still think so. Empire. The problem with Empire is they shouldn't be good if it's just infantry. I feel like they need infantry and like they need to have that cool supporting magic and everything. They need everything.
Yeah,
so you need the game to tie together.
Because it's not just it's just not infantry needs to be buffed. This is their infantry also needs buffing.
There you go. Yeah. So most improved, probably like what's going to make it a better army. I'm guessing, not what's going to be the best army. Okay. Ew. Understand.
Oh, well, if you're talking about most improved, it probably could be Empire. Skaven, if they're also enabled, part of it.
Yeah, there's so many, isn't there? Like, I was thinking the other day, just Vamps, because to me, Vamps has always had like zombies, and skeletons, and I'm like, I just don't see them.
Well, but see, even like I would love if Tomb Kings were good because of skeleton blocks, actual spearmen skeletons, and looked at, but they actually are good because of other things. So it's not really answering Mark's one, but
it's hard to answer because so many armies could quite easily pivot into much heavier infantry block army lists and still be like really functional, have quite diverse army lists.
Yeah.
It's actually really hard to answer who would be most.
It might be Brett's too because they'll bring the new night box.
Yeah, they can bring the knights. They can bring the blocks of infantry. They've got the Grail Reliquary. I think we actually got a variety. If infantry were strong, they could bring out a good list of stuff. I mean, so
the two armies
they even have foot knights because you just never see.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's the answer is the two armies that don't need it is Brett's and Tomb Kings.
Yeah.
And then this is sort of a question, and I thought I'd just put this in because I just want to.
Hang on, Todd's answered it and it's got it 100% right. Squeeze.
Yeah. Squeeze.
Yep.
Squeeze.
Love it. There's no other right answer.
Bring back to Squig. Making good.
So this is Jelly, our resident competitive player that we've decided this week that he's the competitive player. Man, I'm tired of hearing about the infantry change. Can't we just enjoy the Monster Mash era we are in? Move on competitively when it changes? Seems like every YouTuber has been talking about the same thing for 12 months already. Everyone's just sitting around waiting for Elven Infantry to be top tier because, whatever. Reactions?
Yeah, I did say that comment. Yeah. I get what he's saying, and I think I don't know. I feel like people are still playing the game. I don't know. I think there's times for both, I guess. But all I'd say is I think we're enjoying it, and especially Andrew, you're like this. You're enjoying just going, well, it doesn't matter, just play hard stuff and monsters. You don't really care that the infantry isn't bad. I mean, isn't good.
I'm glad the game's back.
Yeah. Ultimately, I think that's what it is. But we're all
100%.
grumblers, you know.
Yeah.
We love the grumbling. Like if the best part is having a floor you can just like picking at like constantly.
Yeah.
And like just keep harping on
I
about
think
it.
the other thing is
That's really a happy place.
It's nerds everywhere. It's a nerd thing. You get the Star Wars nerds, and they're like the most toxic community. You get the Star Trek nerds, they're like toxic. You get like, like all the nerds. They get so like, I'm a nerd. We're all nerds, clearly, but like they just get so passionate. Like they just get, I don't know, something.
I think I think you're probably missing it a little bit too, though. If you just think it's the infantry is what people complain about, I think there's a little bit. It's probably going away a bit now, but a little bit about the look of the game, and they don't want it to look like AOS, like with just big models and skirmishes.
True.
And to make that better, you almost need to make infantry better, because then you get blocks of troops back and stuff. That's all. That's probably what I'd make the point about.
It is in the description, rank and flank.
Yeah.
And if there ain't no ranks, there ain't no flanking going on.
Yeah, basically.
Yep.
It's true. It's true.
And then a bit more relevant. So then Mark also asks, in the current comp meta where BSBs are rarely taken. Oh, Mark, I don't know. This answer is going to be useful. Would you take one for the new 80-point Wood Elf Magic Standard 18-inch reroll bubble? I think he doesn't mention the extra leadership. I'm pretty sure it gives an extra point of leadership as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, point of leadership and an extra.
Or would you instantly discard it? And then the same question, but for the local club / Fluffy Hammer, in brackets, possibly Josh's Slanesh influences, bracket, play? I'm not sure how. I don't know how this Slanesh. I mean, the main question was: so would you easily discard the banner, and then would you reconsider it for a local or Fluffy to play it just as a part of the?
Maybe not in the Wood Elf list though. It's a bit useless in the Wood Elf list, isn't it?
I just can't see any justification for it. It's just 80 points of something that's really.
Would you take it for 30
when you
points?
have?
No. Because why do you need the +1 leader? I don't understand why you need the extra leadership.
It hasn't even got a cool name, like
the extra. You don't really need the extra leadership because you've got leadership 10 availability in general, like quite substantial. And then, what you're getting the extra 6-inch bubble rather than a 12-inch bubble for a reroll of the break test.
I don't understand it. Pretty weird, that one.
What's this insult?
I don't know.
Australian, I'm completely clueless to British insults. So it's cat. It's a W word, and it's been
4
beat
letters.
Down. Yeah,
it's gonna be 4. I thought it'd be 5 letters or 3.
Oh, I thought he was going to mean that. I thought he was going to mean catwank.
Oh, is that a thing?
Okay,
must be a
wank.
Yeah,
is it?
I was thinking either whiz or we,
that's what I was thinking. But then I was like, it's the wrong number of letters.
It's too many. It's wrong.
I need to use that as a definitely a phrase.
Catwank, yeah.
Catwank.
All right.
It's a band.
Have they?
Sorry. Josh's bet.
I didn't bring this up. You should ask
the answer, don't you? You know the answer.
We won't be reading that one out. Yeah.
It's not happening.
How do you milk a male cat?
Yeah. Cool. What's next, Josh?
I'm just hit the next question.
Yeah.
Adam YOC 713. Oh, he's got 713. So this is Firebird 7137. Interestingly, so the 7137 is
that's
in
like
his Discord handle too. So, isn't that? Oh, is it?
I thought maybe I'm getting confused. I thought it might have been.
It used to be 7337 was elite.
Yeah, but not. I'm saying elite speak, but not elite. As in, I thought it meant something, but maybe it doesn't. All right, ignore me.
I don't know. Maybe it does. As the newest and most numerical Patreon, I want to ask the guys' thoughts on Beastmen and why they seem to be absent, pun intended, from the topish tables in the meta right now. On paper, they have lots of pros. Warband to deal with leadership, tough 4 base, lots of reroll abilities, good mobility, punchy monsters, killer characters, and potent magic. Is it simply they're just not played as much, or not meta enough? No dragon options, or are they just cursed by GW? Hoping to change that over here in the US by getting one on the table more, and looking forward to the new Arcane Journal. Don't see many Beastmen.
Yeah, I mean the easy answer potentially is it doesn't have a dragon, and is there a lot of Swift Stride? Probably not. Except
not much.
The Brazigals. Are
you going the book? So you think the book, the rules, is the issue? Is that what you're sort of suggesting?
As in they don't have an Arcane Journal?
Are you saying the volume of players just might not be there? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, for me, I think like Beastmen just aren't collected as much generally.
Yep.
Like not as popular as an army, I would say. And maybe that's why they've been dropped possibly off the Age of Sigmar line. I don't know. Maybe, but then they're bringing it back here. I don't know.
They're basically just above Wood Elves in faction tournament appearances around the world. So it's funny how it's almost in order of scarily, almost in order of releases of the Arcane Journals.
Yeah.
Warriors and Chaos is at the top. So it could be a little bit of that.
But how many people have got? I don't even know anybody. Like I know Michael's got and you've just got one Beastman, but I don't know a lot of Beastman players really.
Yeah, don't ask me as a Beastman player yet. I only just started getting figures. Yeah,
you call me a Beastman player.
Yeah, and there was a bit of discussion about it. A lot of the comments were about just like, either they're not popular to start with, but also the models, aren't easy to access, and also the cooler units that Beast players kind of want often aren't like a very particularly good choice. Which I think is probably a fair shout.
They're not exactly. I don't know. They can look like a good army, but they also can look a bit bland. I don't know. Like
they can
just be chords of stuff and just So I can understand why people don't run out after them like some of the other armies. So
yeah.
Yeah, fair
enough. I like them when you used to like.
Where do you think they actually are ambush wise? I mean, in terms of what's your theories of why they weren't released? Anyway, we probably talked about this a little bit last week, but yeah, like that's the other thing. Not only are they not at tournaments, but why do they get rejected?
Like as in why the Arcane Journal hasn't come out yet. I mean, it's so weird, isn't it? Because it almost looked like everything. Like the Wood Elf release was sort of predicated on some of the fluff that would have been released by the Beastmen. They even refer to it in the almanac for the Wood Elves. Like it's like, okay, this fluff was going to happen in the context of that, but that release, but never happened. So
yeah,
like
we are. Look, no, I love them. I'm getting into mine, sort of getting there.
He's got them.
Yeah,
I love
man. I think it should be onto this. I was thinking about this later. That tariffs potentially could have been an issue because basically, and I don't know, maybe I'm totally speaking. I have no idea about crap like this, but could it be that their largest target market is the US? It was all in shipments. Then the massive tariffs hit, and they're like, if we send this through import, suddenly, because Games Workshop don't change their pricing, so they can't make the consumer eat the price. Like, Walmart can just pump the prices up, but Games Workshop's not going to turn around 1 month and up all their prices for US. So everything coming in for the UK is going to go whatever it was. I don't know what the initial tariff thing that Trump set for the UK imports. That Beastman, that chunk of stock going to the US might have hit right at that time, and they just went, I don't know what's happening, let's just hold off. And then they've held off long enough to know that now it's gone down, and then Wood Elves have gone out instead because they've sent it everywhere else. I don't know. I don't even know if that makes sense, but they could have done something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah,
I've heard it. Yeah, I kind of
we don't know enough
thing because I'm like, well, couldn't they just keep them there in storage? Or
No, they can't. Well, if you go off, I guess if it gets unloaded on the dock there, isn't it? Then you got to pay otherwise it gets sent back if you don't pay, or it gets destroyed, or it gets sent back. Like they won't let it in the country. Okay. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know because it still doesn't make sense. Because even as a case, how does it end up being that the Wood Elves get released before them anyway? As well, I feel like the Wood Elves would have happened past them, because it's still
at the same time
factors.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very odd.
Yeah, not sure.
Silver Dave says, "I want to see Josh's version of a Herdstone." I know what he's implying, and I don't appreciate it. Oh dear. Shall I hit the next question, guys?
Yeah, do that.
Enough beast discussion. Oh, Perfidy, another question from Perfidy. He asks, I love this. I was trying to work out how to pronounce this just when I saw this question. Here we go. Sisters of the Thorn or Sisters of Avelorn? I have no idea what the question is. I feel like it was more just it was a question. It had a question mark at the end.
Okay. Yeah.
Which I just trying to get that one out.
We'll probably touch on the Wood Elf stuff, but I was listening to Ed from Close Orders take on the Wood Elves, and he was like, "Oh, maybe the Sisters of the Thorn are coming back with these little." It's like when you try make something good by having 4 different ways to get there. He's like, which actually might be a thing, but yeah. So you never know. Sisters might be in again.
Yeah, I think Sisters of Avelorn are the way to go. Really.
Yes,
much more consistently useful. Those would be the sisters I'd choose. Adam also asked. So Adam YOC 7137. That's a lot of numbers. It's a very numerable Discord handle. Oh, this is a good one, actually. Here we go. This is a trip down memory lane. Did you guys start right in with Warhammer, or did you have a gateway game first? Looking back, I had Battle Masters and Hero Quest. The former was definitely my favorite as a young kid laying at the huge mat on the ground to play with my dad. Still have it and hope to play with my kids when they're older. I don't think my dad knew what he started. Well, and then I think he has some emojis of some dollars going on. So did you guys start up playing straight up Warhammer, or was there some other miniature, or I don't know what the gateway would be, how you define it? I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say
did you guys hit Warhammer straight up?
It'd be another game system, or like maybe Hero Quest or something. I'm guessing possibly if you're going.
Did you play that? Did you? Did you play Hero Quest?
No, but I'll be guessing that could be an answer.
No, but what was yours?
He's asking us, what was your experience?
I know that. I'm just saying, because you were saying, in what I was giving an example.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was straight up.
Sorry, right, yeah.
So for me, it was just I went into Games World as a little kid, and there's this little rack of, $10 frigging metal things, and I'm like, I don't have money for that, but they're awesome. Shops, I'd go in and look at this rack of stuff I couldn't buy, and that was it. I was hooked. That was my There wasn't a gateway. That little rack.
There was no gateway. You were just straight into the fortress.
Yep,
I think mine was. The closest I would say, and I couldn't even say it potentially was because it might have been all around the same time. I probably did a little bit of the D&D in second edition D&D, whatever it was, advanced. What was it? Second edition advanced, whatever it was. The main one that AD&D had, ADD, second edition. Is that what it was? Yeah. Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, second edition, Dragonlance, and a little bit of, I think it was MERP, the Middle Earth role-playing game. So it's probably the closest, would be a little bit of role-play, but it was probably pretty close to when Warhammer was also, I started that. So no other sort of board. Oh, my dad used to play Ancients, but that was not when I was around. So he had an old Egyptian army, which I never used, but it was sitting there, and then he sold it. So, so I probably knew what a war game was, but never played one.
Yeah, right. Because I feel like my answer is unfortunately going to be similar to you two in that I didn't have any gateway, just straight into Warhammer based on my friends playing at school when I was in year 5. I do remember though, and I got reminded of this listening to another podcast recently. Did you ever play that crossbows and catapults game where you just had the dudes like
I've heard of it,
on
and
the
you
carpet,
actually shot
and you
stuff?
would fire projectiles at them to knock them over? I remember playing that before I played Warhammer. I don't see it as a gateway really, but I just see it as one of those weird like progenitor things. Where we're just actually destroying stuff rather than just rolling dice. Then I matured to dice rolling, I suppose.
Was your gateway trains like mine was or not?
Ooh.
I can't remember, Josh, if you did trains.
I definitely did trains. I did trains a lot. Trains a lot. And it did precede the Warhammer. And did I play trains after Warhammer? No. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Here we go. It supplanted the trains entirely, and never did.
Oh, there we go. I do trains too, if that's a thing. If we're all gonna.
Oh, you did as well. Oh, okay. There you go. So maybe it's trains for our gateway. There you go.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it. Yeah. I did do hardcore gateway drugs when I was.
Now, what scale trains? Because that would really dictate whether or not you did trains properly or not.
Not the little ones.
Ooh, where are you going?
There's only one answer that's right for the right.
Only one answer that's right. So you can't.
N.
You can't say G.
None.
N.
Yeah.
N or none.
The best. Yeah.
You should be playing War Master then, mate.
Nah, that's the Z scale, isn't it? Even smaller. You get Z scale. I think
that's true. But I feel like HO scale is close enough to
that
you're in the same world.
Smaller. Yeah.
It is a bit smaller, I must admit.
I just found N you could do more in your room. Like you could fit actually something slightly decent in a bedroom. Whereas HO too big. And anything above that. I can't remember. Is it O gauge above that? I can't remember.
I must admit.
Absolutely.
I only ever got HO stuff, and I would look at the pictures of the N scale stuff and be like, oh man, you can fit so much stuff in such a small area. I was jealous of that. I was jealous.
Michael thinks we should have stayed in the closet, clearly.
The three of you oversharing, lads.
That's it.
Sorry. It's
on my Patreon. I'm out of here.
Move on.
They thought the WAAC comments were going to be controversial. It's turning out the trains.
I still use the model train techniques in all my Warhammer. Man. That's the way to do it. Last question from Sean, and I quite like this question. What's your monthly ratio of purchased to printed minis? Purchased minis to printed minis for the. So what's the monthly ratio? And then he also says for the past month. But I guess you can answer like in general on average, but also just specifically the last 30 days. What's the ratio of purchased to printed?
This is purchased though, isn't it? Yeah.
I'll let you guys answer that because I don't print clearly because I'm gonna go get myself a drink and I'll be back.
Okay. I think Josh is gonna be with his one.
Oh, hey, do you want me to answer first?
Yeah,
I can answer it. All right, it's infinity.
Yeah, that's the thing because I don't think you bought.
Because I haven't bought anything.
I'm trying to think. You didn't even buy. Oh no, hang on. Did you? No, you didn't buy anything for the Bretts. You were trying to get.
I've bought Flappy Hands. And I bought the old school Knight on Pegasus, the metal one, like the really old one.
You were thinking of getting the unicorn, but then you couldn't get it at the time. I remember.
Yeah, I couldn't get it at the time. Then I never got around to getting it.
Yeah. Okay.
So I haven't bought a mini since for a year, more than a year.
I would say the 3D printer has helped me print more than I've bought, but I still do buy. So
yeah, I'm actually quite interested to hear your answer.
Yeah, the last month is not a good indicator because I don't think I've bought. I'm trying to think. I don't think I bought a figure. Oh, maybe when was ShyCon? I might have bought a box of Ball Boys, but that was Probably more than a month ago. So the month doesn't count because that doesn't really work for me.
What's your ratio then?
The ratio probably would still be, and it depends on the army too. That's the problem. That's probably like 2/3 to 3/5 printed versus the other bit is bought. But I'd say a lot of the bought is because, for example, I'm probably not going to print a lot for orcs and goblins. Or Tomb Kings really at the moment, because they're all Games Workshop, except for the odd thing like the Scorpions look way better and they fit in. But if I was going to buy, say I needed to run a War Sphinx, I would buy a Games Workshop War Sphinx because it would fit in like my Tomb Kings. Do you know what I mean? But all my dwarves, which I have not painted yet, are all printed. So like it just depends on the army.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I guess that is true because you did that dwarf army as a printed army.
Yeah. So I would never.
That was the only reason you did it. You would never have bought them.
No, I wasn't going to buy the dwarfs. Yeah. So I guess that's and well, the Mordheim thing's a good example. And we'll get to that a little bit, hobby maybe. But if I start a warband, it's probably all printed at the moment.
Ooh.
So it's probably I'm defaulting to printing more than buying. As much, but I'll still buy. I'm still going to buy. It just won't be ridiculous. It'll just be looking.
Yeah, but for Mordheim, Mordheim is much harder to buy for because there's no like. I don't know. Depends what you're buying.
Yeah,
I'm interested to hear what specific ones you're.
Well, it's not that exciting, but I can show you when I get there.
Don't we have to leave that for Mordheim Fanatics?
Oh yeah, probably.
That's every month or whatever. We can still.
Too excited. No, we gotta.
So I did buy the big militia kit, the free company kit or whatever it is, but I just and I probably will use some of it for some of it. But yeah.
What about ratio of water printed currently on your painting table?
That's a better question. Okay, 1/3 printed, 2/3 bought.
Oh, wow.
Well, if you don't include my Mordheim stuff, which is actually not on my table, is sitting in front of me on my computer desk thing, which is not my painting table.
He did specifically say your painting table. So, yeah, those are not admissible.
Is it destined for the painting table?
Specific question.
Straight after this? Is it going there once you move it?
Oh, you're talking about my Mordheim things?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. I think I want to start on some of them. Yeah.
Okay. So they're going to be moved.
I'm not sure how specific you meant that.
The problem is the stuff on my painting table has been sitting there for ages too, and I need to actually start doing these bloody basements. So it's like...
Don't want to put it in
It's still 0 in perfidy for mine.
What's Andrew's then? Oh, okay, so Andrew's technically is 0 because it doesn't print yet. But I wouldn't also say, when you say buy, some of your stuff is, a lot of it's secondhand and stuff like that. You're not buying, you do buy from Games Workshop too and retail, but you also do other stuff.
When was last time you bought a new stuff?
It's all legit. Bought from GW. Don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, you buy a lot of secondhand.
Oh, yeah, you buy
You get stuff sent over from China. What are you talking about?
Questionable source. Yeah.
Dubious origin.
Dubious origin, that's the word.
No. Yeah, so I do buy quite a bit of secondhand stuff if I'm looking to collect to do something later. But if I want something soon, I don't know. Like Old World, I've probably spent maybe $500 on actually buying new stuff since it's come out over the last couple of years, whatever it is.
What do you reckon I've spent if I've bought? No, we don't have to go through it because that's ridiculous. But I bought 2 of the starter boxes, and I bought 2 boxes of demis and a militia kit the other day, which I'd still see in boxes. I bought
probably the same GDP as a small African country, I reckon, is what you've spent, Gomo.
But it's probably, I reckon, for 3 or 4 of the armies, I spent like $300 on launch of each one, but only like 3 or 4 of them, and then the others I didn't. So I don't know. It might be more than 5. It's more than 500, but it might not be. It wouldn't be.
I love your demigriff story.
I know.
Demigriffs is awesome.
Idiot. Anyway,
do you want to tell everyone why you bought the demigriffs?
I was going to do. I was going to do Midnight, a different color. What's wrong with that Empire? And I'm like, started painting, like I printed that.
It was 2 boxes, wasn't it? You got two more boxes? Yeah.
2 more boxes.
To paint a different colour.
Like,
that's beautiful.
Just to paint in blue and white. And then I was like, got through 5 spearmen or whatever and went, how bit is, went, fucking hell. Maybe I'll do a beastman instead. So I put it back in the box. I will do it. It's just
you got 5 in.
Yeah, if Empire, I don't know. I feel like Empire right now. I was like, why am I doing this when I should finish my orcs and then start like an airbrush army just to get? It was more. I'm trying to look. I'm making excuses here, people. I'm trying to get myself out of the hole that I dug.
It's good. It's good. That's what the hobby's all about.
Hey, if you don't have unopened boxes, you're not doing the hobby right. So.
Who needs a drug? Got Warhammer. Yep.
Well, that is the Patreon questions.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay. Well, let's smash through the next 20 minutes or so. Let's have a look at some news. I don't know.
Are we doing Josh's special tonight as well?
Sorry, what was that?
What was that? What was that? Was it a news thing?
Everyone's just waiting for us to shut up. Just kidding. What was the Josh's thing, Andrew?
Oh, I thought he was going to go through his take of the AJ as well. For the,
well, I was gonna bring up the almanac, but then we can just talk through rather than go through it page for page. You want to do that?
Oh no, it's all right. Did you want to do news? I didn't know if we forgot about the Josh's thing. No, cool, awesome.
Yeah, all at once. I reckon we'll just do. So we got the almanac, but obviously the Arcane Journal leak. So I mean, Josh, overall, have you looked at the Arcane Journal leak bit and got any thoughts, or was there anything you wanted to chat about with it?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely looked over it. Wait, are we talking about? Sorry, you got the Arcane Journal up. I mean, sorry, the almanac.
I can't bring up. You want me to bring the leaked images up? Will that help you and just skim through some stuff?
Will help to skim through some stuff. Yeah, for sure.
Sorry.
Otherwise I'll be like,
not the official pictures that GW sent us, the leaked pictures.
Have you got leaked pictures? Like, has it pulled off YouTube?
No.
We have to work so hard. Oh yeah,
work off. It was going to take too long on the tariffs, so they just sent us some pictures.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to find it again from our other chat here the other day. Yeah, so there's the Wood Elf Realms Brian's Wild Hunt.
I must admit, I'm a lot more interested in the Wild Hunt than the Taliesin one, I would say.
Okay.
As well as the Taliesin one, like looking at the army comp at the Taliesin one, like the fact they just cut out like so much cav, even like your wild ride, like glade riders and that, like just your
wish you had your
chaffy type stuff, or your redirectors, like they just
well, you sort of do. Like, you got the isn't this the one with the beast? Or was that the other? Oh no, it's the other one. Damn it. The beast packs are in that one too. Ah, sorry.
Oh, the beast packs, yeah. That's in the other one. Yeah. Okay. It just seems very static.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's the archetype because it's just supposed to be those infantry blocks and that type of thing, and maybe it'll be good. But I don't think I'd enjoy playing it.
I just want to see this. I just want to see what people can pull off with some trees, but I don't know if they will. But we'll see how it goes.
Oh, running it as a tree spirit list.
Yeah. Or like a fair bit of it. Yeah.
Or an ambushing.
Yeah.
Ambushing triads.
It's like
it's
like ambush don't turn up, and also you can't kill them because they're off the table because I keep rolling ones. Yeah.
And man, like those bonuses with the special features and stuff, like what the heck? Like I don't see that.
Yeah.
Such a shame. Such a shame. The parry thing is really interesting though, and that is so intriguing the way they put that in as something that really just reads as a global rule.
Yeah.
But it's just
towards it might be.
It could be. It does. It really makes me wonder when they wrote this. Like, was this written at the same time as all the others, or was this written a bit later? Because it almost feels like they're like, oh, maybe we should add in parry, and we'll just do it through here, and then maybe it'll spread from there. I don't know.
If they're doing that, it would mean that whatever other edition is a lot closer than probably what most people would think. I don't know. because you'd want to put it in. Although I guess if there is a second edition, there will be. I doubt they'll invalidate. It wouldn't be one of those invalidate ones. So there's no way they would
like
do that on
invalidate as in all the army books and arcane journals and stuff.
Yeah. Very rarely do they do that, on just the next edition. It's usually on a bigger.
No, yeah, it's usually every 6th edition.
Not that we know with this, but
Yeah, so surely they wouldn't just re-release all the books books again. I agree. I think it should just be a second ed with some different rules. But unfortunately that opens up the scope that they can then just start doing power creep with sequential releases of other books and stuff.
Yeah.
The way the way GW always do.
The GWA.
What else? What about the Wood Elf Kindreds? Does this add a little bit more? Do you think they've done decent?
Yeah, I think they have absolutely done. Yeah, there's so much character in this. I wasn't sure
because that was one of your questions last time.
Yeah,
because you were
curious.
We've already got them with shadow dancers and stuff. Yeah,
that's right. Got some of them, and they have re-added the Wild Rider and the Eternal Guard Kindred and the Glamour Kindred. And I think the Scouting one too was all. I think they were all 6 ed ones. But yeah, those Ultra, the way they've split the Ultra Kindred out into 4 different ones is really quite cool. Unfortunately, yeah, I feel like the Bear one, which is your strength and toughness by 1, is a real standout. Yeah, I think you're going to see that one a lot. But the Boar one, I think will have a place too because it's not limited by being infantry or cav only.
Yeah. I agree.
I think they're cool.
Yeah, I think we were trying to make Scout Kindreds work with people, like the little something, but I think we were failing.
Yeah,
the Wizard.
The Wizard. Yeah, that would have been good.
Anything magic item related that?
Sorry, I got distracted by Silver Dave going, do the woodland critters have the ambush special rule? If so, and the boars got you, you would have been hambushed. Tuesday.
Try the veal.
Man, the magic items, there's some cool ones here. Yeah, the bow is such a shame that it's just 5 points higher than a waste orc can take. What on earth, man? I'd love to see the Cloak of Tumbling Leaves in somewhere, just having a dude flying around. I think that'd be fun. I don't have any particular strong thoughts about most of these magic items, to be honest. I was more interested in the arcane journals. And just the infamy. Sorry, because I was just trying to think with the Wild Hunt. I'm trying to work out the way you can give the bonuses to the Glade Riders and the Warhawks.
Mm-hmm.
Give them the Furious Charge and Impetuous, obviously. I mean, I'm keen to use Orion. I think Orion would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And all I can think of is making everything frenzied in the army.
Yeah.
So I have some kind of obsession with Impetuous and frenzied armies, by the way, because that's what I was running a gang on. But it sort of makes it scary. Even Glade Riders are suddenly scary. And Warhawks will be slightly cheaper. They're not quite Peg Knights, but they will suddenly have three or four attacks, going in with this. I mean, it's only strength 4, I guess. It's not a strength 6.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some play there. I don't know. I'd love to see
character in there about on a wall.
You could.
Yeah.
You could. And if you had a few units always running around, I think that'd.
Yeah.
I think it's some fun to be played. It's mega class cannon. It's just running at things, and you've only got tough 3, 1 wound each for each of these 30-point models. Yeah. It would just fall in a heap if it got hit. But Orion looks like I reckon he'd be reasonable value. He seems relatively solid. With the way his dogs protect him that are ethereal. I think actually makes him really quite versatile, and he's got that range weapon as well as the buffs he can put
weapons
out.
Are awesome. Yeah,
the fact he can just put pressure on constantly with that bolt thrower. I think it's really good value, even at 450 points.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I like him. I like
now
it,
the
guys.
issue is
I'd be running.
bring him in. You're not going to be having the you're really not going to have the dragon potentially. Although you're not really getting wizards in that one, so maybe you would just take him and a dragon. You do that, I guess.
I'm not taking a dragon.
Yeah, so you would. Yeah, you wouldn't have one. Yeah,
I'm sick of seeing dragons around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that he stays. Yeah, Mark just said. I think it's like a mobility in 360. Yeah, no, it's a bit annoying that the dogs die. He's still close order or open order. It is, but yeah. Have you got him? Have you got Orion as a model?
Not currently.
Ooh.
Won't be long until
that's all I'll say.
Beyond,
bit of a stipulation there.
Apparently. What about the Lore of the Wilds though? This was pretty cool, I thought.
Very good.
It's a whole new spell deck.
Yeah. I did see this on Squarehammer. Only briefly though. The Fury spell sounded pretty crazy, being such a high strength with multiple wins too, and that kind of thing. Like some of this stuff, I think will change the meta a little bit, because you do need some kind of some additional punishment for the big monstrous mounts and stuff, and having something like that commonly available, pretty terrifying. I like the hidden pathways. That reminds me of the Avelorn 6th ed book lore. To be honest, that takes me back.
What is that one?
Isn't that?
Oh no, that's
a
different one. That's the
Oh no, that's the race. Yeah,
no, there's you can cast a bound spell. That's in Avelorn, the normal book one between the forest. But now you get a bound item in this book that lets you cast it as well. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Can I ask a question? I never even thought about this. If you're taking sisters, can they take that item, the arcane item? Because are they classed as a wizard if they're a conclave? So they can't take that arcane item that gives us the lore?
No, I don't think so.
Sisters of Avelorn. Perfidy, he ruined me. I can't say Sisters of the Thorn anymore. Sisters of Avelorn.
Yeah.
Drop to a no. Okay, yeah.
Must be in their special rule that they can only take.
What Ed from Close Order was saying is because the Dirthu's Wrath is the one that I was liking, and maybe putting on Treeman Ancient, getting in there, but not even that. You could just have it on a normal guy, have like a normal mage. But it's because it's an initiative test. It's like, how do you lower your initiative? And that's when the sisters get access to elementalism, and the Sig spell is a initiative debuff by 1. So it's a lot to spend to get a -1 initiative. But at the same time, yeah, I don't know, like if you can make half the front rank fail an initiative test and get D3 strength, 4 hits, no armor save, you do a fair bit of damage.
Yeah.
Dwarf
lines will be deleted.
Yeah. So that's pretty interesting. I can hear myself echoing, so I don't know if that's me or someone else's headphones.
Yeah, I can hear the echo as well.
Yeah. Sorry if it's me, not sure. Could be when I'm turning that way. Don't know.
Oh, Jay's just come on and knows what half the show was about.
He's just straight into the vet jokes, which are very ridiculous.
So not neutering. The discussion was actually we won't go into that. It was something else. That's right. I was trying to remember what we were talking about with animals, so it actually won't bring that up. About cats, wasn't it? Yes. Cool. Was there anything else you wanted to, how are you definitely getting the Wood Elf Beast pack then, Josh? A couple of packets so you can
at least 2. At least 2 packets.
This will be your new, because you haven't spent anything, so you've been saving all your old
I spent like
dollars.
$300 on beef pack.
We know how you like to actually have animals for your terrain. So Games Workshop is saying, hey, don't.
I do. I've really got cows and sheep.
$200 on my kitty cat.
I love them. I will consider buying sleep packs, but there's so much nicer animals out there, guys.
Yeah.
And you can fill it with all manner of woodland critters on the base, little guinea pigs and mice and hawks. And
let me bring back where's my screen going again? Bring back the almanac quickly and skim through that. I don't I've lost it totally now. Old World Almanac. Any other closing thoughts? Like you're obviously getting. Did you pre-order the Arcane Journal because you haven't spent anything since?
No, I haven't. Oh, wait, the pre-order's up. Oh, I guess I should pre-order it.
Yeah.
I should pre-order it. Yeah.
Anyway, did you guys read this almanac? I'm not going to go word for word on it, but obviously they talk about this, like you said, Josh, at the beginning, this chat around beastmen, and obviously the Wood Elf and beastmen are very much in the same storyline, which is a bit weird that beastmen just didn't turn up. I don't know. There's probably not much without knowing the actual scenario fully. I don't know if there was anything too fancy at the top part of this. Did you guys want to cover any of that, or do you want me to? I'll just keep scrolling down. I thought this was interesting, just starting to get and chatting about. It feels like they're doing the same thing. Let's just get these armies out so we can get onto Cathay and the next stuff. That's what I sort of felt was a bit of the discussion here. And then I also thought that was funny, like they were trying, it feels like they're trying to talk about that this is all tied together and they've got the narrative weaves, but then they sort of go, but some of them are standalone stories in the Arcane Journals, like the Dwarf one and stuff. So I sort of feel like, I don't know. My thought of this was like, it felt like they had some of it planned, but not all of it. And now that it's actually done well, now they're trying to wrangle it back into like we had a plan all along a little bit. Maybe I'm being skeptical of this, but it feels a bit like that. But I'm not going to complain because it means they have, expanded it and they're bringing all the stuff. So it's all good. It's just a bit funny.
Yeah. That is good.
Any other thoughts with it, or
they haven't mentioned anything about legacy and stuff and that kind of thing in there, have they?
So I mean, we go all down the bottom. They mentioned the where was it?
What was that redacted thing?
Yeah, so that's right near the bottom anyway. When they talk about beastmen are coming, right there. No, it wasn't. Where was the redacted?
Was it above that image?
Here it is. After Grand Cathay, we have another interesting Arcane Journal planned, which redacted. So,
that is so tantalizing.
So something's coming. They do also drop the stuff about the like I find it funny they were talking about the host of Towson here and goes, to the opposite of the Wild Hunt, the army of infamy represent the noble kindreds and it's led by Araloth, blah, 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 blah. But then when you get into it, it felt like it is, then they got the Law of the Wild. There's a fair bit of like tree. Like it felt like a hidden tree army, even though, but then they're trying to sell it in these public articles as being the noble kindreds. But I felt like it's probably more, I don't know. It felt like it's got that aspects of being the tree army, and then you got the wild magic in there as well. It's just a bit strange. There's a little bit just disconnect with what they say and what you actually get with some of these things. Which is a bit
Actually, I've got a question for you regarding these so-called further Arcane Journals that everybody's talking about. What do you guys feel about more armies being released and then possibly more armies being released? Is there ever a point where it's going to be too many? Like, like traditional Warhammer only had those armies. Like, it was really traditional.
Yeah.
If you're going to change the scope of it, like that, they're bringing in Cathay, which is huge because it's never been anywhere before. And then, what happens if they start bringing all this new stuff? And then, how like Age of Sigmar almost turned into heaps of little,
40Ks like that. There's like 30 something different arms. Yeah, it gets a bit confusing. It does make it hard for new players, I reckon. Like it gets too.
It will.
Well, do you guys care if that changed? If the face of Warhammer, you're literally going to change what it is to a certain extent.
I don't mind. Josh won't like me saying this, but it's not because I'm going to hit on his Slaanesh army thing. But it's not. I mean, it's probably a bad example. But I don't mind the Arcane Journals because the armies of infamy are close to the normal one. Well, hear me out. The normal ones are they're close to the normal army, so there's not heaps to learn. But if they start whole new ones, then I'll be a bit worried that there's just going to be so many. I'll be getting confused. And like things like the Slaanesh army, in 6, it's almost like a whole new one. So if it's cool, that one's really cool and themey. But if there was heaps of that, I'd probably would start getting a bit like, oh, they're just, I don't know, they're trying to bring new stuff for the sake of bringing new stuff rather than just have our standard Warhammer. That's all.
While I do agree with you in theory, I will say in concept that the Cult of Slanesh army just combines a bunch of already existing units.
Yeah, so it's very similar.
Maybe adds one new one.
Yeah. So it is more like an arcane journal in that regard, anyway. Army of Infamy, I should say. Yeah. So as long as it stayed to that level and it's not like whole new stuff, because I think you're right, Andrew. I probably, well, I don't know if you agree or not, but I wouldn't want so many that it gets totally confused. Like I think 40k and stuff's just gone ridiculous.
I agree.
Like,
and I feel like the only other game I can think of that has so many factions like that is War Master, but War Master's army, like unit construction and stuff, is a lot more simplified. There's not like all these special rules and everything you got to remember for all these different factions in the same way. And I think it'll make it harder. But okay, there's then another question then is, if we ended up with like 7 new factions that they released, say they had, I don't know, Cathay, Kislev, Vampire Coast, Nippon, Araby, I don't know, 2 at the Norska. So now they've got like the initial 9 and then 7 new ones. That's like 16 factions.
Yeah.
Do the legacy armies, if they still don't like support them, do they start to actually fall by the wayside?
Yeah.
I would.
Does that actually change the culture a bit? If they don't get any support.
Yeah, I think you lose a bit. I really think they need to make sure those legacies come back at some point. Like, especially, I don't know, I shouldn't pick on them, but like Skaven, you want them back. You want Vampire. I don't know if I could. If I didn't say Lizardman, maybe I wouldn't, because it's not old worldy. It's sort of like off. It's even older. It's at the old world in terms of
the new world, ironically.
Yeah. It's like that one's probably not as stereotypical Warhammer, even though it has been around since 5th and stuff. But I hope they all come back. Really.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I hope so, but I wonder if GW goes the other way.
Yeah, I guess we don't know. The only other thing that I thought was funny too, down here they say, thanks guys, we'll return to talk about Beastmen shortly. Big things are afoot in the old world. And then people are like, what does a foot mean? Annoyingly, I did see a foot right at the top, so maybe it just means Beastmen. There's something afoot with Beastmen at present in the old world. So maybe it is just that. But then I was like, what else could this afoot mean? Like, is this something relating to the new stuff, or is it just literally just?
Isn't that just a turn of phrase, and they just recycle?
I'm reading it
perfectly.
I'm not saying that.
Like, afoot is just a word.
Yeah,
I agree perfectly.
No, they did it on purpose. There's a meaning.
They never read anything.
Yeah,
a hoof. Things are a hoof. Yeah,
big things are a hoof.
That's a bit weird, but they did say it right at the top, so it's probably nothing. Yeah. Cool. Well, at least we get at least we're one step closer, people, to find out what the hell is happening next.
I'm not going to read that one out. It's too ridiculous.
Did you guys also see the Cubicle 7 news with the old world role-playing covers released? I bring them up, but you can't really. So there's Beastmen in this one, which is kind of interesting. They sort of talk about it as the front cover. There's a Herdstone in there. I think there's a Shaman. There's what's it called? Not a Gortak. I can call it. That's the 9th age one, isn't it? The Gorgon.
I do that all the time. I give it the 9th age. Yeah.
And you got your heroes there. So kind of interesting. Is this something you guys would ever play, or you've never played it and you're not a big role player? I wonder how it'll go.
Outside the bedroom. No.
Yeah. I'll get them. I played it when I was a kid, but I haven't played it.
I've never played it. I've never played a role-playing game like that.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
I'll be open to it.
With this, I love that they're bringing it out. It's awesome. And I want to buy it because I want to see what sort of fluff's in it and stuff. But I feel like Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay took off. Even though it did create a lot of the fluff, it's definitely kept growing because the Warhammer Fantasy world is so big.
Yeah.
But Warhammer the Old World lore is not huge yet. And so I'm wondering, is this just going to have to help build it, or will it not have as good an uptake? Because like if you're playing Wolfrop, like the normal one, would you go and start playing this, or would you just go, well, I don't know, the time frame's a bit different, so I'll just stay with the one I know. I wonder if there'll be a bit of that with it.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Like if you haven't been exposed to this, like if you don't play D&D or have a D&D background or play role-playing games, it's such an unknown. Like I've never done any of that. So for me, I just, out of pure ignorance and me being scared and not knowing anyone else does this, I'd be like, no, I'm not doing that. Not saying it doesn't look cool. Like to me, it looks cool.
Yeah. It's just interesting too. Like AI is really helping this sort of stuff too, because it's so much easier now to build up like narratives and games and stuff. So it's kind of like I think role playing might be one of those game genres that but it has been growing. Like it's big and it's probably going to keep growing, which is kind of interesting. One of my daughter's friends, like a girl, she's like her like work friends are all playing it, and they're only like 18 and stuff. So, well, not Warhammer, but 18D or D&D, whatever it is these days.
D&D,
yeah, which is kind of funny. So just the times have changed now that teenage girls are playing it. That was not a thing when I was a kid playing AD&D. So anyway, kind of funny. Yeah, I don't know. I think is that our topics for today? Did we cover everything?
I think we covered most things. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Maybe just if you have any hobby or anything like that. Perfectly did ask. Wait, when are you guys going to watch Josh's first appearance on Fanatics? Which I'm pretty sure he means that old battle report. We're going to do like a live reaction type thing.
And we can try that.
Which we've been so busy with all the Wood Elf releases and everything, we just haven't had an opportunity. But I'm keen. We'll try to do that
because it's only 13 minutes long. Although you have to, watch my horrendous playing probably, but that's okay.
Well, we might do it at the back.
I reckon that'd be such a blast from the past. That'd be so good.
Yeah.
We'll have to find the first one you or me play then on there, Andrew. There must be. It might not be the first game we ever played together, but we did play on there.
I think we played twice.
Okay.
I think you beat me. Oh no, maybe 3 times on the channel.
Don't know.
But yeah, I think the first one was my all infantry guys. Sorry, cavalry. Just had heaps of blood knights. I believe that was our first game on the channel.
Really? God, I'll have to go back. I cannot remember. Is that we played ninth though as well on there? Hey.
Yeah, I think that started. I don't know if it was 8th or 9th.
Yeah, I think you got 9th on there.
That first game, I think I got a right flogging from you. But yeah,
really,
it was fun.
Yeah, good. Okay.
It was Orcs versus Vamps.
Yeah, probably all the savages, was it?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Cool. What hobby do you have here? Josh has got something. It looks monolithic in the background.
It's not monolithic. It's
pretty big.
It is a tower of some kind. Okay, fine, I'll bring it up.
Well, that's what I'm going to call it. Look at that.
Monolithic in any way. So this is this is a bit of a slideshow. So this is the wizard tower that I've been bought 4 or 5 years ago. And then I realized that I want to actually maybe paint this up and use it at the campaign next month because I might explore the wizard tower. So this is a work in progress type stuff. I haven't quite finished it. I've considered the windows and that type of thing, but yeah, that's my
looks really good.
Very, very large wizard tower that I've been working on this week. And I'm thinking I might be able to incorporate into some Warhammer too at some point. Thanks, Mark. What a lovely column. You guys, come on. This is not in any way.
It is.
Oh dear. Yeah, cool. Anyway, that's my little hobby spotlight. Can I just say Jay seems really obsessed about neutering pets, and he should really find a new topic to talk about. What is wrong?
Maybe just go on total juvenile since that one channel. Oh well. If you didn't start your Slaanesh army, Josh, it wouldn't have happened. So
yeah. That's
yeah,
it.
only myself to blame. Only myself to blame. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Right. Anyone else have any hobby, or is that it? That's it for hobby.
I haven't done a lot, but I've got like a little. But
yeah, I got it.
I thought we had some big announcements going on.
Not really. Like I said, my Beastman hobby has gone the way of the Beastman release, and just haven't done any for some dumb reason. I don't know what it is. I need to get into it again. And so I was sitting at these half completed Wolf Riders that I might have put in my nomadic war, and then you can't really see it, but I also bought. There you go. I bought something else. I bought the 3 other special character, I think, AOS Goblin Riders that sort of go a little bit with them. So I'm going to put them together. So a unit of 8 that I can just use if I need to use them. And to be honest, after doing some of the airbrushing on the Beastman, I just wanted, and these guys were already like Zenithal. I was like, I just want to paint some normal stuff. I don't know what it is. Sometimes you just go, I've got to go back to what I know. And so I started putting them together. I haven't finished them, but I'll just smash through them. And they're pretty cool looking models, so not too bad. But then I did start, because this was like a week ago. I didn't show you guys this last week. So, but then because we did the Mordheim thing, I did start just playing around. So I've started building a Ulrich Mindenheim list with a massive bag of, so I've got like, there's probably like, I've printed like 8, maybe 16 guys with base toppers and all the different random arms and stuff. So I'm putting the warband together and then working out what to arm them with, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Okay. That's what I'm going to do first. But without going into Mordheim, because that could be a whole other podcast, which we do have. Do you guys like? Can I put a hired sword person in there, or I can use other rules that are in different, like there's an Ulrich priest that's not in the normal book, but it's in like a town crier. Can I just add that in? Is that fine?
I think you can pay for a hired sword as part of your starting warband. I'm pretty sure, but I feel like we need to wait for the expertise of our 4th co-host, not Perfidy, but Alex. Yes.
Right. Okay. So I feel I want to put a priest. That's why I've done that priest there. That dude on the right is the Highland guy. And he'll come with a little wolf companion to run around. So that'll be a different base size, but I'll have to do that one up. But there's also, those hide swords. And I was looking, because Middenheim's very much get in and smash face. And I was like, it'd be nice to have just something else that was able to shoot. So I don't know. So I was looking into that. Yeah, that's I don't know. I don't know any of the strategy or how to build these war bands. So I'm just sort of throwing stuff together and trying to have more bodies than spending money on like too much equipment. That's sort of what I'm going down. I don't know if that's
I think as long as you stick to that general rule, I think you'll be fine. I don't think you need to min-max too much.
Yeah, cool. Anyway, so that's where it's up to at the moment. So I'll get some paint on them this week and start just playing around with it. Yeah.
Awesome. It's my go.
Yep.
All right. On the Mordheim bandwagon, I've gone out, as probably Josh and Gama are aware, and purchased a little
Zoom yourself up.
Little printer.
Nice. Very nice.
Rain printed up.
That's exciting.
Also, it is. And I've been flat out as well. And I've also been doing a little rebasing of my vamps there. I've got so much crap.
There's a lot going on there.
Sorry, with the 3D with the printer, you haven't used it yet. You just set it up. Is that right? Or have you started things?
I set it up today, and miraculously, I was managed to plug it all in because there's little plugs everywhere, and they're all labeled. I don't have instructions. I'm like, oh, here we go. But I got it all together, and it turns on. Hopefully, I just need to get some filament and some STLs.
Filament stuff. Yeah, right.
Stuff. And slicing program. Get her on there, and Bob's your uncle.
That'd be fun to see. Nice. Are they easier than resin? Like, is that like, do they get out of whack? Do you need to level them? I don't even know. How does that work?
The leveling looks like super easy. Okay. I think the whole thing looks super easy. I just gotta have a little play with it. Get on YouTube, watch a few how-tos, and it's pretty popular. It's a bit of an older model, was like one of the real popular ones. So there's heaps of resources for it.
Nice.
Cool.
Don't ask me what it is.
So many good scenery stuff.
You got a second hand, didn't you?
Yeah, I just got a second hand. This guy was getting rid of it, and I was looking at something else I was going to get, and then I looked into it. I was like, oh, it's actually pretty good for what I wanted. They're quite cheap now, the old filaments. They're not as expensive as what they used to be.
You definitely, we could definitely use a bit of them. So gonna be fun. So I think, was it who said that? Was it? Oh, did Jay ask about the ones I just put up? Are those lion faces? Is that my comment? Is that from my figures that I put up?
I can only assume so.
If it is, I'll just answer. But yeah, they've oh god, what is? It starts with P. I can't remember what the shop is now. It's one of the ones on my mini factory. They do Blood Bowl and Mordheim figures. Oh god, what are they called? I'll find it out and put it in the chat. If someone wanted to know where I got them from, but I just can't remember. It starts with P. There's so many names of like freaking creators. It's hard to remember them all. Try to find it.
There are a lot now. There's heaps. It's great.
Punga. I think it's Punga or something like that. Does that ring a bell? Do you know them, Josh?
No, I don't.
Yeah, Punga Miniatures. So they've got like a couple of war bands. They've got a really good witch hunter, whatever it's called, war band. That's the right word for it. And a bunch of Punga. There you go. Peter Pratt just said Punga. That's it. Yeah, it is.
Punga.
Yeah. Oh no, it's just, the Beastman type models. Is that the ones in the background of my other shot? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure which one. Don't know.
Anyway.
Cool. I think we're at the end.
I think we are at the end.
I feel like we've really thoroughly unpacked WAAC or WAAC.
Lots of whacking. We've decided whacking is the way. Whichever way.
Whack like a dead horse. Thoroughly whacked.
2015.
Rat Bastard just gets here. Damn, I just got a sorry. It's like
no.
Catch up on the it'll be on the YouTube after this. So it's all good.
It will.
Okay.
Rambling.
Well, I might call this one a day. Thanks for all our live stream participants. We've got a bunch of them in there. It does make it a little fun. Hopefully people, I don't know what the audio is like these days with us half answering people and reading random comments throughout it, but it is what it is. YouTube's obviously our main game, so I really appreciate it. And for those who are liking the content, we're here every Monday Australian time, I guess, on our live streams, and we try to get other videos and bat reps out, which maybe we'll get a game in this week, Andrew. I think I tried to get a table this week. Well, we tried to get a table last week out of our
I thought you were doing last week,
and we didn't get it. They're too busy.
I think Colin asked, like, it was one of the first in there, but then he just said, "Oh, Andrew, you keen for a game?"
Yeah, I put a question mark after Andrew. Like I went, old world, and they went Andrew question mark, and then they thought I was asking a question, but really I was saying I want the table, and I just tagged Andrew. But my fault. So we lost the table. So maybe we can try this week, and we'll get a game in. And then other than that, though, we do get some other videos out from time to time, and we have our new Mordheim one, which episode 1 went out last week. So appreciate whoever likes, subscribes, and all that. Comments, it really helps the algorithm. And like I said, if you want to join patrons, jump over to patreon.com/oldworldfanatics. Really appreciate support over there. Until next time, I guess hit us up on our Discord, send us questions and comments, and we'll try to get back to them. And really appreciate it, everyone. Have a good week. I'll see everyone next week.
Nice. Yep.
See ya. Ciao.
See you guys.
Bye.